Hello. Hello. Just starting up, just doing me checks. My little green buttons are working, so it looks like everything's working. Let's have a look. Live. Oh, 2 people in already. Wow, that's early. So for the 2 people that are already in there, can you hear my words okay? I've just put it on my iPad. Yeah, I can hear. Everything's working. Okay, it's good. Sounds perfect. Fantastic. Nice blue skies as well, which is beautiful. I've got me coffee. I've got me everything set up. I'll just turn the voice down. There we go. I've got me bit of paper in case anybody's got any questions that they need to ask and things like that. Hello there, Dave. How was the holiday going in Koh Chang? I seen your first one. I have not had a chance to have a look at your second one yet. We just got back from Pattaya today. We're there for the Songkran period, and we've just got back to about an hour or so ago. So very, very, very tiring. So how long this one goes for, I don't know. Good holiday. Went good. Koh Chang. I think we're going to Koh Chang the end of this month. I've got a friend who lives in Tras, so we're going to go do a little bit of work around his house, help him with his electrics and things, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, Koh Chang, it's probably one of my favourite islands. It's lovely. But saying that, Ploy gets bitten quite badly at Koh Chang. In Koh Kud, which is sort of the next island along, she was okay. She never ever got bit. She was okay. But Koh Chang, on one of our holidays there, we had to come back early because she was so badly bitten. In fact, she gets bit more by mosquitoes than I do. So, hey ho, it's funny, isn't it? How some places can affect you more than others. We've got these pesky little black flies. So if I'm rubbing my nose a lot or rubbing my eyes, I do apologise. But we've got a lot of these little flies that come around on rainy season. Hello, lads. Vincent, Julie here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're from around the world. Morning, Les. Believe it or not, from Blue Sky, Wales. Wow. Did you order it special for the weekend? Yeah, so I mean, occasionally England does have some blue skies. When it's nice in England, it is nice in England and Wales and Scotland as well. But I've never been to Ireland, funny enough. So I've got me coffee, retired and living the dream mug. And for those people in Australia, I've got the Australian mug, retired and living the dream also. So we're a little bit early. So I sort of this live stream is a little bit of on the huff because, as I say, we just got back from Pattaya a couple of an hour to 2 hours or so ago, and I've just set everything up. So we'll just crack on with the video and see what we're going to talk about. So if anybody's got any questions, put a Q at the beginning of the comments, then I can see it's a question. So I do apologize if I missed some of the questions by answering some of the questions that people have put, but just put a Q in a question again and I'll get back around to it. I try to answer as many questions as I can on here. Ask wherever you want, no matter how silly it may seem. If you want to know the answers to it, I can give you the answers to it. And if I can't give you the answers to it, which is very rare, I can point you to the directions of the people that can. Because living here for 12 years, you learned a little bit about living here. And it's interesting. Again, we've just come back from Pattaya, from Songkran. Wow. Was that such a busy. But I met lots of lovely people, and it's just a fantastic feeling of seeing thousands upon thousands of people happy. But boy, did we pay for it yesterday. We even though we stayed in Pattaya for the two days, 2 nights and 2 days, we didn't go anywhere yesterday. We just stayed in the condo that we hired and just relaxed and vegetated out because just too tired from partying the night before. I used to do it for the 10 days when I used to live in Jomtien 10 years ago. But wow, one day it took it out of us. But saying that, we went out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We got back in at just gone midnight. So it was a long, long, long day. Good morning, afternoon, Les from the UK. Roll on 21 months, then I'll be there. So you're not counting then? 21 months, wow, that'll soon pass. It really will. As I say, in the last year, it'll just go by like that, because you'll have made progress. You've done your research. Research. Look at all the options that are available to you. And if I can help with any questions, just send me an email, no problems, and I'll help you out as much as I can. But by doing your research, you won't go far wrong. There's some people just turn up here, and I was talking to a couple of people the other day in Pattaya, and they sort of just arrived, didn't know it was Songkran, and hated it, absolutely hated it. So their first impressions of Thailand everywhere they went, because Songkran in Pattaya lasts for about 10 days. So every day you were getting wet. And these two guys weren't very happy at all. And I was talking to them and I said, no matter where you go in Thailand, you're going to get wet. But Pattaya, it goes on for 10 days. So they were happy once it was going to, I told them it would end on the 19th. And on the 20th, which was yesterday, it's as if nothing happened. It really, really, really was just, well, Pattaya is never quiet anyway, but it was just back to normal. And there was, well, the cars go by. And there was a lot of Indian people. We were out until gone midnight, and come 11 o'clock, the Indians were in the obviously change of clothes type of thing, going out on the town around about 11 or 12 o'clock, saying, no, for the water. And all the girls were just squirting with water. So there was a lot of unhappy Indians as well. But before, there used to be a ruling in Pattaya that all the water stopped at 8 or 9 o'clock. But on the last night, it was just, if you're walking in the street and you look dry, you were going to get wet. But it was good fun. Absolutely, thoroughly enjoyed it. Are you going to increase your solar panel output? Yes, I'm going to increase. In fact, I was looking at various things I could do. I've extended the lighting, like our lighting around the house. I'm going to do a video about that. And I am going to get a better inverter, and maybe it's a LivePo 4 battery, which you can use 80% of it without fearing of damaging it. So yeah, I'm looking into that. But that might be another 20,000 baht or so. But I'm helping a guy out there I know. He wants to put a backup system in for the solar. And I've got to say, putting a backup system in makes absolutely perfect sense over here. Because so when you do have a brownout, then at least you've got power, to put the fan on, TV, and, it's great. It's great to have that backup system. So you don't have to spend an awful lot of money. Electricity is so cheap in Thailand anyway. We've just got our electricity bill, 639 baht. So about 15 pounds for a month. That's our electricity bill. I know there's some people have the air conditioning all the time. It can be 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 baht. But for us, because we don't have the aircon on, we live in a fairly cool house, and, we have the windows open, so we create a through draft. 3/4 of our house is in the shade anyway, so it doesn't warm up the house like a thermal brick. But by having cross ventilation, it gets rid of the hot air. We've also got I did a bit of an experiment about putting a whole house extractor fan in, but it was just a small fan. Does it work or not? I don't really know. I'm not 100% sure myself, but my theory being it sucks all the warm air up from the ceiling. And I mean, 639 baht for electricity bill. We can't complain anyway, can we? Oh, the flies are horrible. So yeah, I am going to extend my solar panel system. I love solar. I think it's the way forward. But in here in Thailand at the minute, it's too cheap. The electricity is too cheap to make it viable. It's still a 7 or 8 year payback if you wanted a full house system. But for me, between 5 and 8 years, solar panels will have improved tremendously, as will the batteries. So just wait. It's like now the solar panels and the batteries are far cheaper than they were 10 years ago. What my thoughts on the expats tax proposed? I've heard so many different stories about the tax. Hang on a minute, I'll have a slurp of coffee. My thoughts on it is, I'm going to wait and see. There's no need to be worried over it or hassled over it, or it is where it's going to be, isn't it? And already the tax experts are saying there's going to be workarounds and things like that. There's double tax treaties that most countries have with Thailand. That comes into play. And I did a video not so long ago about what the taxman says to me, what I'd end up paying. And I don't want to go too long onto this, but basically, I could still end up paying, even though I'm on the basic amount of money here, like 50 or 60,000 baht, I could still end up paying a little bit of tax living over here. But what that's going to be, even the taxman doesn't know. But the taxman also told me that there's going to be workarounds for everything over here for your tax, how you get it. So I wouldn't worry about it at the minute. It's not going to be too bad. But again, the biggest thing that I got from this is that if you're a high-paying tax person, like in the UK where you pay 45% tax, you will never, ever, ever pay tax over here, because the highest tax band over here is 35% anyway. So no matter what you're earning, if you're paying more tax than the 35%, then you'll never, ever have to pay tax over here. But again, if you're on the 20% tax, you might end up paying a little bit. Like the working class people always end up paying anyway, don't they? But again, without going into too much detail, see what happens. Has Ploy ever been on a UK trip with you? And is it possible for the future to meet your relatives back there and see where you grew up? No, she's never been back to England. I have no intentions of taking her back to England. I've only got my sister anyway, who lives in England. She's scared of flying anyway, so to put her on a flight for 12 hours to England, and even if I took her where I grew up, I've left England. I left England 14 years ago. It's mega expensive. Where there's plenty of places that we could go to Laos, go to Cambodia, go to Vietnam, go to Singapore, go to Korea. There are many places here much cheaper than taking her back to England. So no is the answer to that. She'll never ever go back to England. If I need to go back to England, it'll be, sadly, if my sister passes away. She's the only relative I've got now. My daughters don't speak to me in England, so I've got no reasons to go back and see them. But the door's always open for them. They can come and see me anytime. But no, it's the long answer to that. No, she's not going to go back to England. I say I've had the best of it. In my mind, I've had the best, and I'm going to come on to talk about that a little bit later on, because there's one or two people riled me up with regard to, leaving England and saying that disrespect England. I don't disrespect England. I'm forever grateful for England. They supplied me with an income and a way of making a living, so I had the choice when I retired. And sadly, that choice has gone for many retirees now. I was given the opportunity to be able to retire at 50. Now, what other job is there in England now that lets you retire at 50? They're basically what the government want you to do. They want you to work until you drop. And then if you die afterwards, after retirement, the government's very happy about that. But anyway, that's another story. I'll come on later on about that. Right, let's have a look. So no, Ploy won't be going back to the UK. All reet there, Les. I'm all reet. Yes, thanks very much. Aircon gives you only runny nose and yeah, that's why Ploy doesn't like the aircon. It makes it all congested type of thing. So We just have 2 fans on in the bedroom one a night. Okay, it's warm, but I've got used to that, and it's okay. I'm okay with that. We put the aircon on a little bit in the living room on the night time, so we sort of settle down at 6 or 7 o'clock, and we might have the aircon for an hour just to cool the room down, but we still have a fan on in the room. So we use very, very, very little aircon. Mine was 12,000 before I got the 14 kilowatt with 2 big batteries. I bought it down to about 3,500. Ooh, wow. 12,000 baht, Dave. Wow, that's a lot. But yeah, I mean, Dave went in, got to love Thailand. Anybody watching my stream, have a look at Dave. He's built his own house up in Surin. He's done all sorts. He loves koi carp fish, and he's done a big solar system to his house type of thing. And he does a lot more live. He does 2 live streams a week, and it's just like me. You can just talk forever. He's a nice guy, Dave. But yeah, Dave's always more than helpful as well. If you got any questions for solar and fish and like building houses, he's the man to talk to. Let's have a look. It's looking nice over there. Only 6 degrees centigrade here. Blighty. Allotment is slow growing at the but allotments. My dad had an allotment when I was a kid, and I was always excited going to see the allotment because there was stuff always growing, and we had chickens, and the beetroot. I love beetroot. Homegrown beetroot is probably my favorite, and it was good to grow. And then when we moved to our house in Redcar, we had quite a big garden, so my dad did all his own potatoes, vegetables, and carrots and stuff like that. So yeah, it was nice to eat your homegrown food. I suppose I should do a lot more of it here, really, because I've got the time to do it now. That's a shame your daughters don't speak to you. I'm betting your ex drip poisoned her into ears. Hopefully they reach out to you one day. Yeah, exactly. That's what happened. Sadly, my daughters were poisoned by the ex-wife, and I've held the olive branch out so many times, and it's been thrown back in my face. And sadly, the last time I was back in the UK, we had a big argument, and a few bad words were said from me. I'm the adult. I can kick myself for saying them things, but for 12 years I've been frustrated of sort of the door being slammed in your face. I was a little bit angry, and they were angry at me as well. So we didn't part on the best of terms, but the door's always open. They always refused to give me a chance to have my say. And that was a frustrating part of it, because there's 2 sides to every story. But sadly, they've only ever had their mother's side of the story. But life goes on. It's a kick in the teeth sometimes, but you've just got to get on with it. And it's been sort of 15 years now since they've been out of my life. So even if they came back in my life, in reality, they'd be strangers, because I've lost all of that time. And the bond, the dad and the daughter bond, is gone, and I don't think it'll ever come back. But the door's always open. I'm a nice guy. I'm not the horrible man that my ex-wife thinks I am. Although she still has to work. I think she's got another 7 years to work before she can retire. And I've been retired now for 14 years. Yeah. So she thought she did well. And anyway, she's very angry at me because just a little story. A little story. She's very, very angry at me because when we got divorced, I was 42 years old, and I could retire at 50-year-old. So going through the divorce at 42-year-old, it was an awful feeling, and divorces are never, ever any good. But I looked at my big picture, that I wanted to retire at 50, and I didn't want to lose any of my pension. So basically, I traded the house away, and I took on all the debts and things like that. And her last words were, when she said, "Hey, I thought you had a good lawyer until I got everything." They were her last words that she ever said to me. And I said, "Listen, don't be bitter, don't be angry." I said, "The divorce is over and done with now." And I said, "I'm happy with what I have to pay. I'm happy that, the maintenance, you'll have no problem with the maintenance and things like that." And then 8 years later, when I retired with my full pension, I traveled the world for 2 years, and I sent her a postcard from every place I've been around the world for 2 years. Maybe that's why she poisoned my kids, because she thought she won. Because I ended up in a crappy little bedsit in Redcar. And I remember when I went and picked my kids up, you know, my kids told the ex-missus where I lived, and a big smile came on her face. Oh, she said, that's where you're living, are you? So, and when I met my ex-wife, when I very first met her, she had 2 suitcases full of clothes, living in a room in a shared house. So, but I've been retired now for 14 years, and she's still got 7 years left to work. Anyway, I get past that. So yeah, it's sad about my girls, but I'm not the only person who suffers from this. I'm sure there are many other guys watching this or have been through a similar or same situation. In fact, most of the guys I've spoke to, divorce never ends well for a guy. Les, you remind me of a young Chopper Reed. I don't know who Chopper Reed is. I don't know who Chopper Reed is, so never mind. I'm sure I'll Google it and I'll find out who he is. I know many expats burn in aircon all the time, and they don't acclimatise to the Thai heat and humid, and suffers when and if they do go out. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. There's a lady I knew. She bought a house over here with a swimming pool, and she was in the swimming pool every day. She said, "Oh, this is my dream house," blah blah blah. And then what she did, she got used to living with the aircon. So after 2 or 3 years, she would never ever went in the pool, never sat outside. Always sat inside with the 6 dogs that she had, with the aircon on 24 hours a day. And exactly what you've said there, she couldn't stand the heat. She didn't. Every time she went out, she like. And anyway, she's gone now. She's moved away from Thailand. But yeah, it can happen where people just sit with the aircon on all day because they feel comfortable all day being sat in the aircon. Stick me in front of a fan and I'm okay. I'm happy with that. I like the heat. Spending as much time as I did in the UK, feeling cold from October till April, it's just nice to have a bit of heat. Okay, now it's a little bit uncomfortable because it's high humidity, but I'd sooner be warm than cold, and I can just stick a fan on. And even now, where I'm sat now, there's a little bit of you can see the trees moving. There's a little bit of a breeze on, and it's just perfect. It's lovely. Sooner live in the heat than anywhere cold, that's for sure. Yeah, worth doing gardening in Thailand. And I did have a hydroponics system. I did dabble a little bit in hydroponics, and I enjoyed it. But the shade house that I had, it was a plastic shade house, and the sun just destroyed it. So come rainy season, it only lasted for a year. All the rain came in, flooded all the hydroponic system, and sort of just destroyed everything. So I just think, stuff that. So I grew hydroponics, tomatoes, lettuces, and stuff like that. And I enjoyed doing it. But there's other things I enjoy doing as well. There's too many things I enjoy doing. But hydroponics, yeah, it's a bit tougher here. But I'm going to grow some lettuces and tomatoes again because they're just easy. You just throw them in the soil and they grow themselves, really. We have our fruit trees now. We planted maybe half a dozen fruit trees. What they all are, I don't know. Ploy seeds of that. But we've just had our first crop of bananas off the banana tree, and we've just got another crop just coming up. So as Ploy says, if you're going to plant something that you can get berries off, fruit off, or some food. So long may it last. I watch your channel and must say it's one of the most informative channels about life in Thailand. YouTube, keep up the good work. Thanks very much for that. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of full of information and the knowledge that I get. I might not be able to tell you where the best burger is in Pattaya, but I certainly know how you can save some money with your visa, renting properties, and workarounds for visas and stuff like that. Again, living in Thailand here for 12 years, you do learn a trick or two, and it's nice to live here and helping other people out, which I have done, pointing them in the right direction is good. But I appreciate it. Thanks very much for your comment about being a helpful channel. Probably now in Good meat and easy to breed. Oh, rabbits. Yeah, rabbits. My wife's family used to breed rats, and they actually got more money for a rat than they did for the chickens that they had as well. Now, I mean, the rats were, well, I mean, big rats, but not everybody will go, yuck, you know, because they just think of the sewer rats that there is. But these were, the fur was beautiful, you know, big meaty rats. I've never had it myself, and the parents, Ply's parents don't eat the rats. But wow, they go quicker than the chickens, you know, when they grow them. And as I say, with rats, easy to keep as well. But again, that's an Esan thing. But yeah, chicken and pork is my favorite meats anyway. Beef over here isn't very good. Starting. Don't forget the sun cream, Les. You're starting to look a lot like. Well, I was in the sun. Maybe I've got two lights on here today because somebody said last time I was on here I was a little bit dark. So I've got two big lights here. So if I turn the lights off, it's a bit dark. And people said it was a bit dark, so I put my lights back on. So maybe that's why I look a little bit red. And I've played around with the settings on the camera a little bit. So I'll have a look on the replay, see if I've got the lighting any better this week. Yeah, but as I say, walking around in the sun in Pattaya, I didn't have a hat on. So yeah, maybe I have caught the sun a little bit. Because we set off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we got back in after 12, and we were partying and dancing away. And wow, did I pay for it yesterday? Aches and pains. And that's another thing about getting old as well. When you get older, you can't do all of them things, can you? Thailand is paradise. My philosophy is retire there as soon as you can. Remember, the time is very precious, and how much money is enough. I agree with you 100% there. Retire as soon as you can, when you can, for as long as you can. We all know how much money we have, but none of us know how much time we have. And I'm a big philosopher of that. When I retired at 50, okay, I was okay with my pension, and I'm lucky that I joined the job that could give me a pension when I retired at 50, and I did all sorts of things. I traveled the world for 2 years, loved every minute of it. Now, today, I'm 63, nearly 64. This elbow here now, I've looked into it. It might be tennis elbow, might be gout, it might be rheumatoid, because I've got rheumatoid arthritis, diagnosed with that 10 years ago. But I've got to say, every morning I wake up and I'm aches and pains. And sometimes you get up and it's an hour or 2 hours before that aches and pains go away with the medication, you know, just through tablets and things. But when you're getting older, you do not feel like doing the things that you would do when you were 50 or 55 or even 60. So make the most of it when you retire. Do the things that you want to do straight away, because when you get older, you won't want to do it because of aches and pains. And I've got to say, almost every day I wake up in pain a little bit. It's just one of them things, you just get used to it. But do I like it? Nobody likes pain. It's horrible. And I'm only 63-year-old, so normal retirement 65. I would hate to think I had to go, because I was an electrician also in the UK. So as an electrician or a joiner or a builder or some manual jobs that I used to do, having to do that at 63, 64, 65, well, 67 now before you can retire, it's just criminal. It's just the government, they don't know what it's like to work hard. The MPs and the politicians sat in the cosy little offices, you know, getting 80 to or 100,000 pounds a year now, compared to the average salary of like 25, 30,000 pounds. Anyway, walk in our shoes before they start telling us how much we can live on. Was it the health minister? He said, oh, 100,000 pounds isn't a lot to live on nowadays. Yeah, it's 70,000 pounds more than I was picking up. Anyway, I'll come on to that, my little rant about living in England, a little bit later on. How long is a rope? Yeah, how long is a rope? How long is a piece of string? Money-wise, you don't need a lot over here in Thailand. You probably need half the amount of monies that you live on in the UK. Sun coming out now. I'm off to make hay. Make hay while the sun shines. Enjoy, Mr. Who. Thanks very much for joining in the conversation, and enjoy the rest of your day. Good day, Les. Divorce has delayed my retirement only 132 days now. Yeah, divorce is an awful way of destroying your plans, isn't it? Wait until you get the age of 72. It's hard losing that extra weight that is pushing on your frame. Yeah, I agree. I'd like to think I could get to 72. I'll be happy at 72. I was Tony the Posey up in Chennai, looking at our medical insurance at the moment and comparing companies. I understand that the different levels of cover, but would like to understand the cost of inpatient care. Yeah, well, there's inpatient and outpatient care. Inpatient care is basically if you're in hospital and you have to stay in hospital overnight. Outpatient is up to 6 hours, and after 6 hours, then you can claim on your insurance. But again, in the description, there's an email for Retired and Living the Dream at Thailand and Pacific Cross, and that goes straight to a link to Loic, who I did the interview with in Bangkok about Pacific Cross. Now, you can ask him any question you want, and he'll give you the exact answers that you're looking for, whether you've got any pre-existing conditions and things like that, how much you can pay it monthly, you can pay it 6 monthly, you can pay there's many different ways of doing it, and the costs and the savings. And if you have a where you pay the say first the 40 or 50,000 baht, that so you can get a higher coverage with a lesser premium. There's all sorts of things that you can do. And for me, if the insurance is too high, then if you're on a retirement visa, use your 800,000 baht as a backup system for your medical insurance and things like that. Now, my medical insurance is coming up for renewal in June, and I'm looking at towards 25,000 baht again to renew my insurance, which isn't a lot, but I only have 700,000 bahts worth of cover. Now, some of the guys on here have said to me 700,000 isn't a lot of money, which it isn't, but it's better than having nothing at all, isn't it? And I'm a pretty healthy guy as far as I'm aware. So there's nothing sort of underlying that I'm thinking is going to, I'm going to suffer from this, that, or the other. So whilst I feel healthy, I'll keep it at the minimum. And when my state pension comes in a couple of years' time, I've got another 40,000 baht a month to play around with then. So I might increase my insurance then, because I'm getting older and the likelihood of something maybe is going a little bit wrong. But I've had medical insurance here in Thailand now for 10 years of the 12 years I've lived here. So I would suggest anybody to get medical insurance, or even look at different ways of funding hospital treatment if you have to go into hospital. 50% less in Thailand, and also depending on your lifestyle, but definitely cheaper than standard of living than the UK or Australia. I'd 100% agree with that. Yeah, divorce has delayed retirement. Yeah. Now, majority of people that I talk to here have, in one way or another, suffered some financial crisis. There's not really anybody that's come here that I've spoken to, well, maybe one or two, that have actually planned to retire to Thailand, through living and saving up and making a plan. A lot of guys that have come here have either lost their jobs, gone bankrupt, or got divorced, or for some strange reason they want to leave the country. And that can be costly. And as I say, and there's many people disillusioned also with living in their home country, because everything is such an expense now. And, with England being the way it is, many people look further afield now to move out of England, because let's face it, there's nothing good in England at the minute, is there? which I'll come on to that in a minute. 10,000 steps a day keeps the doctor away. Yeah. I've got some lakes around from us. So I've actually put weight on over the past 3 or 4 months. I knew I would do because with one thing and another, and Songkran coming up, basically we've had parties, we've had birthday parties, house moving parties, and all sorts of things over the past 3 months. And I knew after Songkran, that was it. I'm going back on the keto next week. And we've got some lovely lakes around here. So I am going to do, maybe it's not 10,000 steps a day, but I'll do some vlogs around the lake, talks. So it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. I can do a vlog, I can do some walking, and I'm on the keto diet again. And my aiming to lose another 10 kilos again. But carrying 10 kilos around with your extra weight is a lot. I did a video, and them great big containers of 20 litres of water. 20 litres of water weighs 20 kilos. And when I take that out of the car and put it in the house, I'm thinking, I used to walk around with this extra 20 kilos, 24 hours a day. So it does make a big difference. Even 10 kilos makes a big difference. And of course, it's all on your joints and your knees and your hips and things like that. So yeah, it's better to lose some weight if you can, when you can. And like this guy says, when you're getting older, it's much, much more difficult to lose the weight because you become less active and less mobile. Yeah, do it before you're 70. Do it before you're 70. It's harder to get, possibly get insurance. They say now every 2 years they hit me with a 30% increase thing to stop me. A 30% increase. Oh, no, that's expensive. Have you looked at Pacific Cross? I mean, Pacific Cross, if you're over 65, they want you to have a medical anyway before they'll insure it. Then they'll give you a grace period of a year or maybe a year and a half before you can claim for certain things. But yeah, I mean, it's 70-year-old. That's the thing. Nobody really wants you when you're old. Nobody wants you when you're old because, you know, you're going to cost money. You know, and that's the same with insurance. But like, as I say, I've had my insurance for 10 years of the 12 years I've lived here. So I've paid it little bit. So, and I've never, ever claimed on my insurance for the 10 years I've been here. But 25,000 baht, that's what I'm going to be paying in July when I renew my insurance. Just had a CAT scan gastroenterology biopsy, private hospital, 37,000 baht. That's cheap. Yeah, 37,000 baht. It's not expensive, is it? It's like I say to those people who can't afford the medical insurance, for between 15 and 25,000 baht, you can go and basically get a scan. This is the part that's going to cause trouble, isn't it? It's all your vital organs. So you can get a scan from there down to your waist for about 15 to 25,000 baht. And, you know, you've got to accept the results as well. But if they find something early, then you can do something about it. And if you can't afford the medical insurance, at least then if you know what's wrong with you, you can treat it accordingly. And the sooner you catch something, you know, the cheaper and easier it's going to get to fix any of the problems. Let's face it, when we get old, we're always going to have problems, aren't we? One thing or another. It's like when I went back to the UK over a year or so ago, I had a suspected heart attack, so I was taken into hospital. I was going to say rushed in a hospital, but it took 4 hours for the ambulance to get there. And they did a CT scan, and they said your heart's okay and all your blood vessels are okay. They're not restricted, but they did find emphysema. We're doing one of the scans on my lungs, so I've got emphysema, and then they found a cyst on my liver. Now they said the 95% sure that it's benign and nothing. He said it could be just one of them things. But as I said, to having that scan, you know, thankfully it wasn't a heart attack. It was just, well, they couldn't tell me exactly what it was. They just said one of them things. And so I had the scan. And so for me, that gave me peace of mind that I didn't need any stents and my arteries are okay and my heart's okay. And my lungs, I've got emphysema. Do I suffer with that? I just thought it was getting old. But not even sometimes washing the car, I can get slightly out of breath. But that's what it is. I'm 60, almost 64 now, so things are going to start to go wrong. So yeah, go for any of the checks at the big private hospitals, and they can check and find out anything that's going wrong with you at an early stage. Medical insurance is a must, but also be proactive in your health. It pays down the line. Yeah, I mean, I don't drink a lot. I certainly don't smoke, never take any drugs. So, that's sort of 3 sins that I don't do. So let's hope. We all have to die with something, don't we? There's never anybody that dies healthily, do they? And they stop insurance. Well, actually, the Pacific Cross goes on until you're 99 years old, Pacific Cross. But you have to have it a little bit earlier as well. But insurance is a big topic. I've done several videos on insurance and things like that, and what you can do and what you can't do. So have a look at them insurance videos. There's big differences living in more rural areas than Bangkok. I walk every day here, pushing myself. House in more rural areas and take scooter, avoiding dogs and dust, etc. Yeah, I agree with that. Rural lifestyle and the dust and things like that. I mean, like the smog can't be any good in Bangkok, and the like burning season in Chiang Mai. It's got to affect your health in some way, doesn't it? You can't breathe in all that crap and not do any damage to it. Swaddy crap, Les. Swaddy crap. Okay, right. My little favourite subject now. We'll talk about the UK. This is good. This is going to be a good one. And some of the questions some of the comments that I got. Somebody said that I sort of disrespect England, and I don't disrespect England as well. I'm forever grateful of England and the job that I had, but nothing was given to me on a plate. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I grew up in a working class, poor area. Both parents worked. We lived in a very poor area of England, and we've never had a lot of money ever. But we grew up and we respected everybody, and politeness and manners gets you further than anything else. So when somebody says to me that I disrespect England, and they said I must have lived in a very bad area because of what I'm about to tell people, what happened to me over my lifetime in the UK, and they said you must have lived in a very poor area. And yes, we did. But I've got to say, I lived in a place called South Bank in northeast of England, and it was a poor town. My dad worked in the steelworks, and my mother worked in Welford's bakery type thing on a night shift when I was in bed, and my dad was taking care of us, and my dad was working at the steelworks. But when I left school, and I eventually joined the Fire Brigade, and this is where it comes into. So the Fire Brigade, we're talking of 1980 when I joined the Fire Brigade. Now from 1980 to 2010, so for 30 years in the Fire Brigade, I was spat at, I was bricked, I was threatened, I was punched, I was robbed, doing my daily job in the Fire Brigade in the various areas that we've been into. So for 30 years, we put up with that. I had my van broken into twice, my electrical van. I had people trying to steal tools from a job that I was at. Every time you had to look behind you for somebody to try and steal your tools. This was like 20 years ago, over 20 years or so ago. Has it got any better? I've been left England now for 14 years, and all I can see is things have got worse and worse and worse. And if you say anything, then you've been against England. But I'm speaking, this is how it is for the normal working people. For those people that live in the affluent areas, they'll never, ever see any of this. But the working class people see it on a daily basis. The carjacking, the scooter jacking, the just snatching your phones. This didn't happen like 30 or 40 years ago when I was a poor child growing up. This never happened. So what's happened to society now? This is England. I live in Thailand now. I can walk around with anything. In a poor country, there's no benefit system here. I have no fear of things being stolen off me. I have no fear of anything being taken from the car. I've got no fear of losing anything valuable. People don't steal like that over here, like they do in the UK. Shoplifting, it's just like you're going to get your hands slapped. If you get caught shoplifting here, the full force of the law will come down on you and put you in jail for shoplifting. So I've got nothing against England, but I've got things against the wokery of all England. You can't say this, you can't say that, you can't say the other, for fear of upsetting those people. Free speech, somebody said this morning, free speech is great until you upset somebody. Then if you upset somebody, then the whole world comes down against you, doesn't it? So England, for me, has lost its weight on the slippery slope downwards. And I don't blame anybody for wanting to leave England and look for a better life. I did it 14 years ago, and no regrets to it whatsoever. And sadly, for those people who live in any Western countries, now, there should be the best countries in the world to live, the Americas, one of the richest countries in the world. England, I think, is the 6th richest country in the world. But how come the first and the 6th, up to the 6th richest country in the world, has got poverty? I've got people living on the streets. I've got drug addicts. I've got food banks. The wealthiest countries in the world. There's no food banks here in Thailand. There's no handouts here in Thailand. But the people, I can assure you, they're a lot happier living here than they would do in any of the Western countries. Anyway, if you've got some answers to that, put them on the comments down below and let me know your feelings of where you are and how you're feeling and why you want to leave your country. Highlights. Coming to Thailand for November, December this year. See if I'm able to... hang on. I'll scroll back up for that one. Oh. That's it, right. Come for a 3 weeks holiday. See if I'm able to cope with the heat. Now, November time is the perfect time because that's sort of the cool. November, December, January is the cool time. The hottest time is like from March till June, July time. And that's when, if you can hack it in them months, you can hack it for the rest of the year. It's also a little bit uncomfortable because of the stickiness, like you just feel hot and sticky all the time. But if you just get used to, as somebody said about earlier on, if you get used to sitting in with the air conditioning all the time, you'll hate going out in the outside here because it's hot and humid. So yeah, November, December, January, the cool season here, you'll enjoy it, that's for sure. And 3 weeks holidays. You'll still sort of be on holiday mode, but it's a fantastic place to be, even for 3 weeks. All Europe is a mess now. I'm from Sweden and I don't recognize my country anymore. It's the Middle East, Africa there, now really unsafe. Sweden was the safest country in the world. Yeah, gun crime in Sweden now apparently is the worst in the world. I've seen a couple of documentaries on that with regard to the gun crime in Sweden. It's crazy. The whole of Europe is gone mad. I think the whole of Europe and England has been invaded by another ethnic minority group who are going to kick off and create a load of problems. My van broken into 5 times in 3 months. Lots of damage, over half the tools nicked. Yeah, again, as my van got broken into twice. And some of the properties that I worked in Middlesbrough, they had a box screwed down into the ground with an emergency button, which sounded an alarm. and I had between 8 and 10 girls aged between 8 and 15 come in, and the girls just grab whatever tools you can get, girls, and run out. And there was only one door. So I slammed the door shut, and my friend hit the alarm button, which sent the sirens off, which sent a message to the security guards to come to us. I phoned the police straight away. And this girl was shouting it to me, yeah, call the police. I'm going to tell them you've been fiddling with me. You've been touching me up. You've been touching me boobs. And I'm saying to the policeman at the time, I said, listen, can you hear what's going on there? She said, I'm doing this and that and the other. So I can't be doing this, that and the other, because I'm speaking to you on the telephone now. I said, these girls have come in to rob me. And I told them the address where we were. And the police said, we'll be down there in 5 minutes. So then the girls effed and blind, and they got a chisel and threatened to stab me with a chisel. So just opened the door, and thankfully they all ran away, but they left the tools there, and the police and the security guards were there a minute or 2 minutes later. How can you stop this? You touch a girl and you just instantly, you're doing it wrong. But these girls knew exactly what was going on, and they were going to rob anything and everything that they could. This is the society that we live in. So yeah. Van being broken, I know what it's horrible. It's the pit of your stomach, because I mean, I used to buy quality tools, DeWalt and Bosch and stuff like that, and Makita, and that's what they go for, because they know quality tools will sell on the car boot sales. Car boot sales is the biggest criminal thing that ever's been opened for car boot sales for buying. Yeah. I was in Sri Lanka recently. I think it's another great destination for retirement. Yeah, Sri Lanka. I've heard some good things about Sri Lanka, yeah. Beautiful country, beautiful people. I think that's Thailand, yeah. It's beautiful country, beautiful people, exactly. Visa regime is relaxed at the moment. Yeah, like New Zealand week, what was a joke? Sweden, yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? You know, the whole world is the whole world has gone crazy. Thailand's a big problem with poverty, though, but they do have a good family values, in which really helps. That is minimal, safer and cleaner. That's what I like about this place. The family take care of family. And during the COVID times, there was a big, everybody pulled together. And there was no bailouts here. There was no furlough systems here. Everybody just stuck together, and it was bloody tough. It really was tough. Like 66 pension application, bank titles, how much savings they will deduct £2 for every 1k US savings. Oh. Immigrants of different kind came to the UK in the 90s. I have worked hard, built a life. I have never claimed benefits and consider myself integrated. I tell my kids they are British first. Good for you. Good for integration. It's nice to hear. There are some nice people who moved over to England, that is for sure. And it's a bit like Thailand, good guys in, bad guys out. And England is the same. Sadly, every immigrant that comes to England now is tarred with the same brush, sadly. But there's like everything, there's good and there's bad. But I think there's a lot more bad coming in than good at the minute. Yeah, there needs to be tough screening for those who continue into the country. Yeah, but that's just been lost. Les, I've just retired. Good for you. Cambodia is on the rise. The city has done big facelift years, and it's cheaper than many things in Thailand. Yeah, Cambodia, but it's also become much more violent as well because of the Chinese casinos and things like that. I got robbed on the walk on the beach in Venezuela. Swung me around, I got my wallet. Yeah. So, I mean, sadly, you can get robbed anywhere in the world, but the likelihood of getting robbed, you know, robbery is, you know, prevalent. I mean, like gold chains in like Pattaya, don't wear your gold chains and things like that, because that can be just snatched off with you. But they don't have like the phone robberies like they do in the UK. That's sort of epidemic, and you know, where the mass groups just go into a store and just loot everything that they can. That's just not even heard of over here. That even like with the ATMs in England, there's bollards all around the ATMs to stop the JCB coming and ripping the ATMs out the wall. None of that here. The guys who fill the ATMs up don't have any buttons, don't have any guns, don't have any helmets. They're just in the normal suit clothes and just, you know, with a big bag of cash. It's just, when you see what goes on in England and living over here, you just feel much, much safer over here. I remember the food banks at the temples during COVID in Chiang Mai. Yeah, again, a lot of foreigners helped out as well, you know, but the Thais were always helping everybody else out. Problem is that they already let the trash in, and one generation now, Somali farmers with 10 kids. Yeah, I'll come on to that a little bit later on. Here in Thailand, it's scams, dual prices, violence against foreigners are pretty rare. Most common is the expat, bashing expat in Bali. Yeah. Alcohol, that's got to do with alcohol. Hi Les, listening in the shade over Calliston 40 on. Wow, that's high. It's in the mid-30s here, I would say. And we've always, because I live close to the sea, there's always a little bit of a breeze type of thing, and it does feel much, much cooler. So anyway, going on to wokeness now. I've still got to be careful what I say on YouTube, because YouTube still censor people and demonetize people and things like that. But so I'm going to sort of pick and choose my words with regard to what I'm saying, but I'm sure people will get my drift. Now, there's a certain ethnic minority group came out with a statement, and I always remember this a couple of years ago, and it says the average white person, you know, the British people, will have 1 or 2 kids. But this certain guy said, we have 10 or 12 kids. He said, no, our kids will have 10 or 12 kids, and their kids will have 10 or 12 kids. So within 50 years, we will be the minority and there will be the majority. So let's face it, 50 years, it isn't going to be that long, is it? And as there's 20 or 30,000 people coming in every year illegally, so times 20 or 30,000 times 10 kids each, just do the maths. It is going to change the total side of the UK in 30, 40, 50 years time will be totally different to what it is now. And we are being invaded, that's for sure. And sadly, that's going to change the whole demographics of everything. It's already started. But if you say that in England, then you've been a racist. And I wish luck to anybody, whoever wants to improve their lives. I have no problems with that. And for those people who have escaped war and hard times and want to live a good life, good luck to them. Go and do it if you can. But when all's said and done, you know, be the nice person. Don't be those people who are, you know, committing crime and things like that, which I think the crime was just going to go through the roof. For some reason, the government will not produce the crime figures as to who's done what, where and when, and how many people are actually in jail because of it all. Our jails are full, but they won't tell you exactly who it's full with. And the radicalization that's going on inside the jails as well, and forcing religion down your neck. And if you don't do it, you're going to get beaten up. So I'm afraid the UK is building up a horrendous problem, as is Europe. The whole of Europe is suffering the same thing. It's not just the UK. Again, with France, Belgium, Switzerland, Sweden, the whole world is in a big move, and it only takes one bad person to cause a lot of grief for many thousands of others. One person can create an effect, if you like, and affect thousands and thousands of others by just what they say and what they're going to do. The world is in a much dangerous place now, and I think we had, our generation, the 50, 60s and 70-year-olds, we've had the best time, and now the whole world has to change the feeling of what's going on at the minute. And I just think in your golden years, you need to reassess where you're living, what you want to do, and enjoy the last days of your life in a happier place than maybe it's where you are now. Demographics is destiny. Yeah, it will follow the trajectory of Lebanon. How hard is it to get a retirement at the age of 71? It's very easy to get a retirement at the age of 71. It is very easy to retire here in Thailand. I got robbed, but they got caught and made the drive end road never seen again. Yeah. Like film Zulu, where I live. I remember watching that movie Zulu when I was at school. Just before we broke up, watching the film Zulu. It's a good film. The problem is, government, academia, media, upper echelons of police, fire service. Yeah, yeah. As you can find the statistics on the jail quite easily, the data is quite conclusive. I was watching the news, and they were trying to find what's being caused by who, and they said that they couldn't get I've not looked myself, to be honest. I've listened to what the news have to say. Sky News. Yeah, I've worked hard all my life, fed up with keeping others. Exactly. Charm is a good retirement place. I'd agree with that. Charm's got a beautiful beach. It's very nice there. UK, more kids, more money from my hard-earned tax. Exactly. Plus 50 senior visa is easily in Thailand. Yeah, 50 years old, you can retire at 50-year-old, get a visa. It's simple. There's a lot of people complain about the hoops that you've got to jump through. It's not impossible. It's like everywhere. No matter which country you go to, you've got to jump through some hoops. Thailand is an easy place to live. If you keep your nose clean and you're a Mr. Nice Guy and you follow the rules, Thailand is a wonderful place to live. I sing its praises all the time. And I tell it how it is. I don't give any BS. I don't tell it, that it's a wonderful place. It has its faults. It has its problems. But I would say it's more sociable and likable here than it is in the UK at the minute. I was with hundreds of thousands of people in Pattaya during the Songkran celebrations a couple of days ago. Did I feel threatened once at all? No, I didn't at all. Did I see any trouble? We've seen a little bit of trouble, yes. Alcohol, people, getting drunk and things like that. Alcohol causes problems anywhere in the world, and it's the same. But invariably, I've seen hundreds of thousands of very happy people enjoying the new year and the celebrations and the happiness. It's infectious. Happy, smiling people is infectious. And how many times do you get happy, smiling people in England now? Very rare. I've come to the same conclusion. Can't change the world, only change myself. After a certain age, time is precious. It is a precious commodity. I'd agree with that. Now, I had some sayings that I looked and I put them on a piece of paper somewhere, but I can't find them. And but you've got to value the time that you've got whilst you're here, because it is very precious, and we never know when it's going to stop. So do what you can while you can, when you can, for as long as you can. and retirement. I never want to retire from being retired. But you've also got to keep this active as well. You've got to do something. You've got to have a plan. You don't want to become a barstool warrior, putting the world to right. And I stay away from negative people. And boy, have I met some negative, very, very negative people. And I'll tolerate it for a little bit, because everybody might have a bad day. You know, some people have a negative day. Even I have a negative day every now and then. But you don't try to impose your negativity on others. And I'll walk away and I'll keep my distance away from these negative people. I'm a positive guy. I wake up every morning happy type of thing. And it's just like, why can't they be happy? Why are they slagging Thailand off? If you don't like Thailand, go and live somewhere else. So I stay away from negative people. And that's what, in life, stay away from the Mr. Negative people. Hang around with positive people, because positive people give positive vibes and everybody's happy around them. But negative people, wow, they'll just bring you down. I've never ever been a negative person, never ever will be. I often see old Englishmen fighting in Pattaya. Well, I can't say I haven't, because I have. I've seen drunk English people fighting over a girl. In this is many years ago, when I used to live in Jomtien and Pattaya. And you just think fighting. There's thousands of girls in Pattaya, but there's two guys fighting over this one girl. But again, alcohol and women, it's just, what can I say? I try not to look on the bad side of things. Pattaya, there is a lot of bad things goes on in Pattaya, but there's also a lot of good things going on in Pattaya as well. You know, I've got a friend of mine who says, I don't like Pattaya. He said, it's full of old men. And he's an old man as well. He's actually 66, he's older than me. I said, yeah, but an old man living a good life here in Pattaya, what's the alternative? Sat in the Derby and Joan Club playing bingo, eating his pie and mushy peas on a Sunday afternoon or something, with nothing to look forward to. Over here, he's 18 and 20 years old again. Okay, they look a bit silly acting like a 15 or 20-year-old, but you know, if it makes you feel good, come and do it. And I've got to say, feeling good when you're older is much more beneficial to your health than feeling old and grumpy and sat indoors from October till April because you can't go because it's too cold. Yeah, the weather is beautiful. It's in mid-30s today, blue skies, fantastic weather. I lays back in Udentani in 16 days for a month, going to look at the budget of 50,000 baht if I can live a reasonable life there. For 50,000 baht, you'll live a good life in Udentani, that's for sure. Udentani is a nice place. It's up way up north, but there's still stuff to do in Udentani. It's got a big expat community in Udentani. Jet set journeys, many parts of Pattaya. It's a dump, especially the bar and sex scene. Living away from that, Pattaya is a pretty good place with good infrastructure and shops. Now, Pattaya has its ups and it has its downs. We went for the Songkran because it was fantastic. We were in central world. There's like a courtyard at the bottom. Must be a couple of thousand people there, with one of the Thailand's top bands, and we were there for 2 hours and we were jumping up and down and partying with everybody else. The security there was fantastic. We got sprayed with water all the time we were there for 2 hours. Just the buzzing and the feeling, and you know, in fact, I'm going to do a video about it, and there's a photograph of me. One of the photographers took a photograph and I found it online, and there's me in amongst 2,000, but you can see my head above everybody else. That's the advantage of being 6'1". You can see all over the Thais because all the Thai people are small anyway. Hundreds of thousands of people all enjoying themselves in Pattaya. Thai, foreigners, the whole place was buzzing with excitement, and it was good. Thailand, for me, I like Pattaya because of the live bands, the food that you can get. I've got a few friends who live in Pattaya. Would I like to live there? And I'd hate to live there. That's why I moved. I lived in Jomtien for 2 years, and I moved away from Pattaya. It's okay for me in small doses, but to live there full time, no way, Jose. I love where I'm living. I live here. Look at that view behind us. I wake up to that every morning. I have my cup of coffee on the sofa overlooking this view. It's stunningly beautiful. We live in a nice quiet area, 5 minutes drive from the beach. We have everything we want here, and I'd much sooner this. But again, some people like busy city lifestyle. But Pattaya, you love it or you hate it. You can probably hear the music in the background. We've got some lakes around us, and there's a festival on today or something like that. So we're going to have a look at that festival, see what's going on later on, see what's happening. Good morning, Les, from the Isle of Man. Grey and cloudy, 12 degrees here this morning, but I'm just about to go out on a bike ride with the missus. So have a good day. Thanks very much, Andy. Have a good day. At least you won't get sunburned today. Be safe on the bike. Soy dogs, that's plenty good luck. Yeah, soy dogs are everywhere around here. You can't get away from the soy dogs. But it's sad to see that they don't care for the animals like they do in the UK. He saves and paid off his boomer house, which cost 50k and now worth 400k, yet moans about UK all day, not realising how kind the UK has been to him. I never knock the UK. It's been good to me. It gave me the income to be able to live here. I've never knocked the UK for that. I'm just knocking the UK for how it's turning out to be. And like the boomers, when we could afford to buy a house, you could buy it on one person's income. Now you need two people's income. Best to live in peace and not to let what goes on the UK rent any headspace. I agree with it totally, but I'm a news person. I always watch the news, and seeing what's going on, it does sort of. I feel sad for those people growing up in that type of thing because I can't see any end to it, and it's just like, what is the solution to this? I'm a problem solver. For 30 years in the fire brigade, I was a problem solver. And whatever came my way, even in life, being married being married 4 times now, but being divorced 3 times, that creates a fair number of problems. Going through bankruptcy and things like that created a lot of problems. But I solved the problems. But looking at what's going on in the UK at the present, I can't see any answers. I can't see any solvable problems. I was just saying, I've even put a lot of sentence. I've seen more ladies fighting Sunday night in Derby on one weekend. Yeah. Now, in my times with the fire brigade, we got called to a pub just round the corner from our fire station. And all the pub was emptied, and we've been called that there was a fight. This guy got impaled on a stool. And what it was, there was 2 ladies fighting in the bar. And this guy went to pull them apart. And this lady punched him, and he fell over, and he fell on a bar stool, and the bar stool impaled his leg. So I had to cut the leg off because they couldn't put him in the ambulance with the bar stool on. So I actually cut the leg off of the bar stool so we could put him on the stretcher and put him in the ambulance, which took an hour. But this bar stool leg was right the way through his leg, from one side of his leg to the other. Oh, it was horrible. But that was a guy getting up, stopping 2 ladies from fighting, and he got punched and thrown over, and a bar stool through his leg for trying to stop 2 people from having a fight. Oh. Poured a bucket of water and it hit me. A bucket nearly knocked out. Anyway, the kids loved it. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people with these blue sticks got water in the eyes and things like that. There's some very powerful water. The little gun, we had a little super gun, and it was brilliant. But some of these big could easily hurt your eyes if it got directly in your eyes. For an old man, single man as me, only in Pattaya, I don't feel I have a community around me. For an old man, single man as me, only in Pattaya, I don't. No, there is. There isn't a community spirit in Pattaya. I don't think there is. It's a playground. I think Pattaya is. It's not a real life situation, Pattaya. For me, it's like Pinocchio town, and there's a price to pay living in Pattaya all the time. It's full of make believe, and it's good fun. Don't get me wrong; it's good fun living in Pattaya, but it's not the real world, is it? 680 last look at generation. We did get nothing for free, but had a good upbringing and safe childhood. 100% agree with that. I mean, as a child, we only ever had one holiday, Flamingo Land, for a week. That was my only holiday as a child growing up that we ever had. We had days out to Whitby and Scarborough and things like that, and Edinburgh, days out on the coaches and things like the B-line coaches. But as far as holidays that people have nowadays, no, nowhere near. But I enjoyed my childhood. I had a fantastic, fixing old scrap bikes and go-karts and things like that, and playing out until it got to dusk. And now the kids are on the phone and things like that. The art of conversation's gone. Couldn't sit and talk to somebody in the street all day. Yeah, wife and kids and friends back at the pickup Songkran. How many people can you fit in the back of a pickup, in a bucket of water? The UK is finished now for anyone under 45-year-olds. The dream of having a cheap, affordable house, missus at home and job with the kids is gone. I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. As I say, now it takes 2 salaries to make ends meet. I think if you had a monthly income of 200,000 baht, you would have Thailand and go. I think if you had a monthly income of 200,000 baht, you would leave Thailand, go back to England. Absolutely, 100% not. There's nothing. Give me £1 million and I wouldn't go back to England at all. Not one iota. It doesn't even register anything. 200,000 baht. You need 200,000 baht just to live a normal life in England. The rent for here, I was paying 12,000 baht, £260. The same house up in Stokesley or Great Ayton, it's over £1,000, over £1,000 a month to stay in something similar that I'm staying in. So there's 50,000 baht gone already before you start even living for it. Then there's a council tax, exorbitant. 200,000 baht a month is just a basic lifestyle in England, in my opinion. And I live in the northeast of England where everything's quite reasonably priced. If you wanted to go live in the nicest part of England, wow, even 200,000 baht a month wouldn't be enough. But in answer to your question, 200,000 baht a month, absolutely zero chance I'd move back to England. Nothing would get me back to England. Absolutely nothing. The UK is finished now for anyone. I've just read that. Now both have to work full time, just head above water. UK is finished. Yeah. Hi again, Les. Just loving a channel, honest heart. I'm finding a lot of false people on YouTube. An annoying person said his guru lives. Hang on, I lost that. But trades Bitcoin. Bitcoin, yeah, forget about Bitcoin. I have no idea what Bitcoin is. Never been to Pattaya Disneyland for adults. Yes, it is, in my honest opinion. Definitely not real. Thailand, so much more to the country, but obviously people enjoy the fantasy. And it is. Absolutely anything and everything goes on in Pattaya. It's a man's playground for sure, but it's just like Pinocchio land. There's a price to pay. Do you feel safe in regards to medical care? What happens if you have an urgency. I've got medical insurance, but it's only 700,000 baht, which isn't a lot, but for me, it's enough. I've looked at all the things that can possibly go wrong with it, and even having stents is about 300,000 or 400,000. So that's probably half the medical cost that I've got. But yeah, I feel in my own peace of mind, I'll die here. And some people have said to me, if I get an illness or a terminal illness, I'll go back to the UK. No, I won't. Why would I want to go back to the UK with a terminal illness that might give me another year or 2 years living in a country that I left 14 years ago? I will never, ever, ever go back to England. I will see my dying days out here in Thailand. I've made me bed and I'll lie in it. And that's what I'm saying. I will stay in Thailand for the rest of my life. Don't be daft, lads. 200k baht a month is 60,000 per year. Average salary is 36. Oh, well, there you go. 60,000 pound a year. No, if you paid me 100,000 pounds a year, I still wouldn't go back to the UK. Even 100,000 pounds a year. No, not that anybody is. I'm a 64-year-old man. No. Nothing would tempt me. If you give me £1 million to move back to England, I'd say no, thank you. Give it to somebody who's deserving, who wants to do that. But no, I'm happy with what I've got, because if you're happy with yourself and you're happy with what you have, then you can't buy happiness, can you? And money doesn't buy happiness, that's for sure. I had that many, many years ago. Money doesn't buy happiness. Nothing will give you happiness. There's only you that can make yourself happy. And if you're happy with what you have, then you're the happiest person around. And I'm happy with what I have. Yes, Les, before interest of the time, the parents didn't know where the kids were at all. Yeah. Grattan's catalogue was my when you've seen scantily clad women with that was the magazine of the day, Grattan's catalogue. Yeah. Brilliant healthcare in Thailand, yeah. But even in the public hospitals, you'll get good treatment in the public hospitals. You don't have to go to the private hospitals to get the treatment. Public hospitals just as good. No doubt there is good healthcare. Just want to know, is respective of being a franc, how is the access and prices? Again, how long's a piece of string, really? You know, and like I say, with insurance you're covered anyway. But the government sanctioned that they can actually charge foreigners 4 times more than what they charge a Thai person, because it's good for the economy by charging foreigners 4 times more than it would cost a Thai person. But that's the price you pay over here. I mean, at least you're going to get seen within an hour or 2 hours of getting into hospital, whereas here, in the UK, when I went to the hospital, it took 4 hours for the ambulance to come and pick me up, even though I was a category group 1 suspected heart attack. 4 hours. And if it was a heart attack, I would have died. I wouldn't be sat here. And then once I got to the hospital, I had the initial test done by the nurse, very, very quick. Once I got into the hospital, then it took 5 hours before I seen a doctor. Crazy. And then I got the results of everything a week later. Where here, you can do all of that lot within an hour or 2 hours. Unfortunately, 100k per year is no longer sufficient to live a comfortable life in England due to the current tax regime. Yeah. I mean, 100,000. I used to think £30,000 was a lot until I was on £30,000, and I still couldn't afford to pay for everything. Yeah, I totally agree with your last statement about money and happiness. Exactly. If you're happy with yourself, that's all. There's only you who can make yourself happy. And if you want all the shiny things and things like that, then it's never going to work, is it? Be happy with what you've got. I don't have the most expensive iPhone. I don't have the most expensive car. My car is probably, a Nissan. It isn't one of the best cars, but it gets me from A to B, and it's very cheap to run. And it gets me around where I want to go. I have a normal telephone. Okay, I've got an iPhone, but it's an old iPhone that I'm using as a webcam on this. I don't have any expensive cameras and things like that. So I live within my means of what I have. And it's probably the first time ever whilst working that I've lived within my means. I've always had debt when I lived in the UK because I tried to think I wanted 10 houses, I want £1 million in the bank, I had the nice cars, nice caravans, nice holidays, but I was working 4 jobs, working 7 days a week. Did it make me happy? No, because I ended up getting divorced and I lost everything. And then I discovered Thailand, that people with nothing were more happy than me with everything, or what I thought was everything. So that changed my life totally. 2002, when I first came to Thailand and discovered that you didn't have to have a lot of money to make you happy. And that was the day that I changed my life, and I changed my thinking about living and forgetting about everything as far as, climbing up the ladder or being the Mr. Jones in the street full of Mr. Joneses that always had the best and, the greatest and the more expensive stuff. Forget about that. You don't need all of that lot. It's funny, all of my friends in Europe in my age looks older and fatter than me, and many are depressed. Loneliness is constantly being on the peripheral of society is the expat's hardest hurdle. If you can handle these, expat life in Thailand is a dream. Loneliness. Now, loneliness happens everywhere, but I understand exactly what you're saying about loneliness, because I felt a little bit like that when I lived in Pattaya. And I'll go on from that, I'll explain. I did a couple of girlfriends in Pattaya, and then I discovered one of the girlfriends that I had, it was only a short affair. And I discovered she was lying to me, and I was disillusioned. And then I was living in Jomtien, and then so me and her split up. And then it was just like every time you went, oh, hello, sexy man, it's all false. It's crazy, And so, yeah, even though you lived in a playground, a man's playground in Pattaya, you can be lonely because it's not real. But where I am now with a girl that I'm with, we've been married, funny enough, on Songkran, which was the 19th in Pattaya. We've been married for 6 years, and I love everything about being with my wife. We've been together for almost 8 years in July, but we've been married for 6. And we gel like that together. We both have a fantastic time. We see eye to eye on majority of things, and we have a good open relationship with each other. I don't lie to her, she doesn't lie to me. We're truthful, honest and caring towards each other, and a more loving relationship I couldn't ask for. And I've got to say, it's far better than the girls I married before. Life for me over here is perfect, and I couldn't ask for anything more. And I'll leave it at that. But loneliness, unless you find that compatibility, there's some guys that I know that are with a Thai girl and they can't speak English, and the conversation is just dead. It's non-existent, because although they've been with a Thai partner for a number of years, they can't have a full conversation. Like, my wife's English is very, very good, so 80% of what we talk about she understands anyway. She can have a full conversation if I'm talking to another English guy, because we have many people that we meet here and we go for lunch and things like that, and Ploy can have a full-blown conversation with them, and the guys like it, because probably for the first time visiting Thailand, they can actually talk to a Thai girl that can understand what they're saying. So the loneliness part, I understand with that you can be in a relationship with somebody, but the conversation side of it is very, 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 very weak and low and non-existent. Same was living in the middle of nowhere. I can understand that being very lonely as well, because if I moved up to my wife's farm up in Karat, I'd be the only foreigner in the village, and I couldn't live with that. We've had our discussions over that, and I said, to overcome that, every 6 weeks I'd have to go to a place where there's loads of foreigners. I can just sit and chat for 2 weeks, and then I'll come back to the farm and just sit in the farm for 6 weeks and then go and do it all again. But that was my compromise. So as far as being lonely is concerned, you can be very lonely in Thailand unless you find the balance. And sometimes that balance is very difficult to find. So, yeah. Hyle, as you say, you have 700,000 cover. Is that every year? Can't wait to move out. Yeah, 700,000 baht worth of cover, and that's every year, and that cost me roughly 25,000 baht a year. As I say, Pacific Cross, on the description underneath here, you'll see the link, Retired and Living the Dream, Thailand's Pacific Cross, and that's with Luik, who organises Pacific Cross. He's my agent. So ask him any questions, whatever you want, and he'll give you the answers that you want. Having a girlfriend can cause a lot of stress here. It can cause a lot of stress not having a girlfriend as well. Loneliness is a state of mind. Obviously, if you are comfortable with yourself, then there will be exactly 100%. And there's a lot of guys that I met over here are happy with themselves. In fact, I met a nice guy, a doctor, who got divorced from New York, and he discovered soy 6, and he said, I'll never, ever, ever have a long-term girlfriend again. Jet safe journeys, having a short time life isn't a real connection. It's you come, I go, and gives you nothing in the end. Yeah, but it gives you something. It gives you something at the end of the day. A slight satisfaction. It's a game. It's a game, really, at the end. Unless, short-term relationships do come and go. But some people like that, because then there's no commitment involved. And it's only really when people get committed, that's when problems can start. Everybody's different, isn't it? I've stayed in Thailand for 14 years, and you prefer to play the field. Well, again, I know a few guys that do that, and everybody to their own. But if you're happy, if you're not happy, I was going to say, if you're happily married, then you don't play the field, but you're not happily married if you happen to play the field. But if you're in a relationship, I think it's unfair that you play the field as well. If you're in a relationship, you should be in a relationship. But if you want to play the field, then you finish the relationship and go and do what you want to go and do. But everybody lives by their own rules and principles, morals, and scruples. Everyone's different. I tried the false girlfriends before, so don't tell me that. I'm not telling you anything. There's girlfriends and girlfriends. There's some good and there's some bad, and there's with everything. Take up a hobby or join expats clubs so you won't get lonely. Yeah, exactly. I was a member of a couple of expats clubs in Pattaya, and as long as you're happy with yourself, then away you go. My Thai wife doesn't have the UK sense of humour. I do miss that. Yeah, I mean, Thais find things funny that we don't find funny. And the canned laughter, I hate the canned laughter of the Thai programs and things like that. And the Thais laugh at some silly things. We're in a different culture, a different continent, so they're always going to be totally different to us. Pair play is boring nowadays. I'm 120k UK pounds every day from my pension. After that's not enough in England, but brilliant for Thailand. Yeah. Jet set journeys. I do speak pretty good Thai. I admire people who can speak Thai because for me, that's one thing I can't do. There's many things I can do, but speaking Thai isn't one of them. Jet journeys can go and take a quick happy massage. It's 10 seconds of bliss, and you'll have the same after. Well, yeah, there's a massage, there's a soapies, there are many things that you can go and do. Let's just had in a public hospital a week, a lady doctor and 3 nurses. Doctor only works there on a Wednesday works, private hospital days, perfect. English spoken, 6,700 baht with meds. Yeah, there's some law in Thailand, I believe, that for the doctors that work in the private hospitals, when all said and done, it's Thailand that's taught them how to be a doctor. So if they have to commit so many hours to working in a public hospital. So sometimes the person that's treated in the public hospital works in the private hospital anyway. So don't knock public hospitals. Public hospitals, when all said and done, a doctor is a doctor. They still have to pass the same medical exams and things like that. So for those people that are on a budget, consider the public hospitals, because I think they're very, very good value. My wife, a couple of months ago, she had an incessant cough for quite a long time, 2 or 3 weeks. And at 11 o'clock on the night, she just couldn't stop coughing. So I went to the hospital. And within an hour and a half, we'd seen the doctor, got medication and come out of the hospital within an hour and a half. And the total cost for that was 500 baht, including all the meds. So for that 6,700 baht was good value. And like I say, I had a lump on my temple there, and I had a lump on my arm. And my mother had skin cancer. So because the Thais don't suffer from skin cancer, if I went to the public hospital, they would have only directed me towards the private hospital anyway, because they don't have the specialists for skin cancer in the public hospital. So I went to the private hospital, and they took a biopsy from there, one from the arm and one from my back. So 3 biopsies, and they sent away for tests, including the ointments and seeing the doctor, and for him to do the biopsies, 8,000 baht in total. You know, and I had it done there and then. I didn't have to go and see the doctor. Then the doctor sends me to a specialist, and the specialist says, come back next week and I'll do it, and then we'll give you the results. And a week later, everything was done in a day, and it was a week later I went back to see the doctor and got the results, and everything, 8,000 baht. I was more than happy to pay that, because then it gave me the peace of mind to think that it wasn't skin cancer. As my mother suffered from it, it was one of them things. And I thought, this here, it was like half the size of a raisin, and it'd grown within a year and a half. So I had it looked at. So treatment over here doesn't have to be very, very expensive. Public hospitals, good. Only thing is often that they don't speak English. You can still get by. Again, I have my wife with me, so if I was stuck in the public hospital, but the twice that I've seen the doctors in the public hospitals, I've been with my friend, and they could speak good English. My friend who got diagnosed with dementia, in 5 hours, we went to the hospital. And the reason why we had to get him diagnosed with dementia, because his family have the power of attorney over his money now, because he's just lost his mind totally with figures and things like that. And he lives a Groundhog Day, because every day is the same. He can remember what happened 20 years ago, but he can't remember what happened yesterday. So we had to get him diagnosed to send the paperwork off to Australia, and then power of attorney. So they send him an income every month. But 5 hours, we've seen 2 doctors. He had a CAT scan, and he got the diagnosis that he's got dementia within 5 hours. So, and that was only 5,000 baht as well. So again, cheap chips. Yeah, Chiang Mai Hospital is great hospital. Again, I don't know, Chiang Mai. I've only been there a couple of times for holiday. I try to keep out of hospitals. I'd rather not go to hospitals. I think the dental treatment is quite expensive. I had a new crown put on. And she said for the same crown that I had, which is a porcelain, which lasted over 20 years, she said it was 8,000 baht. Or she said for 15,000, I'll put you another one on, and I'll guarantee that it'll never, ever crack. So foolishly, I paid the 15,000. And I'm thinking, well, the other one lasted for 20 years before it went wrong. So anyway,
And I'm sure if it cracked off, it did anything, there'd be some other excuse why it cracked or it came off or it fell off. So I've got another one that the back of the crown's come off, so I've got to go and see this one. I'll just pay the 8,000 baht, get that one done. So I think dentistry, I don't know what the prices would be now for a crown in England, but 8,000 baht, that's 160, about 180 pounds, something like that, for a crown. Is that cheap or is it expensive compared to the English prices? I don't know. Something that put me off Thai women was that they go beyond basic chats. Was hard. Not married, cultural interests, conversation can be basic if you want a bit more depth. Yeah, well, I suppose I'm lucky with my wife because we can have some in-depth conversations, if you like, and it's not just basic conversation. She's very, very good at English, as were my other two last girlfriends as well, because the one that I had, she was an English teacher. She used to teach English to Cambodians so they could get better jobs in Thailand. Also, my first girlfriend, she was very good. So I've been lucky, really. The three main girlfriends that I've had here have all been very good at speaking English. So I've got really no experience with regard to the girls who could hardly speak English, but I can understand it's probably not a happy situation to be in, to be with a partner that you can't communicate with. I've got dementia paying bills. Yeah, but it's one of them. You don't want to pay bills, do you? You know, try to avoid paying them. Yeah, private hospital. Yeah, walk this way. I'd agree with you. Like I said before, the hospital doctors in the private ones have to work so many days in the public hospitals. Dental is good in Thailand. 2,500 in the UK for a crown. 2,500. That's expensive. Paid £750 for a crown. Wow. Private dentist, I paid £600 for a crown a couple of years ago. I wasn't getting rid. Oh wow! So I mean, yeah, well, 860 quid then. That's cheap. But I had the 4 crowns done many years ago, maybe 25 years or so ago now. So anyway, that's just, what else have I got to talk about here? Can you hear the music in the background? It sounds very interesting. We'll go and have a look at that a little bit later on. Okay, 1 hour, 42 minutes we've been going on. And 92 people in the house. Hello, 92 people. 44 thumbs up. Can I get a few more thumbs up? It all helps the algorithm. And I'm almost there at my 10,000 subscribers. I'm 12 subscribers off 10,000 subscribers. So if any of those people are not subscribed yet, actually give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Get me towards 10,000, because as soon as I've got 10,000, I'm going to give a prize away. And it's going to be 2 nights at a resort with an evening meal paid for 2 people at a resort near me for 2 nights. And once I've got 10,000 subscribers, I'll do the video on the resort. And again, I'll run the competition. And in a month's time, if anybody responds to that video, they'll be put into a draw and the prize will be given to them. 2 nights accommodation at a beautiful resort near me. And we can sort of spend the day together, discuss, put the world to right. You can do whatever you want. Or if you want to, if you don't want to sit and speak to me, that's no problem either. Hi Les, hope all is well and won't be long before I'm back 7th of May, about 2 weeks, and looking forward to catching up with you. By the way, I've changed my YouTube name from Montana, Thailand. Reteam. Okay, yeah, May, it'll soon be here, won't it? So you'll be here very, very shortly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've got a couple of meetings in between now and then. And people coming here, before they pull the trigger, they want to come look at it for like 2 or 3 months, which I think is a wise decision. Before you actually pull the trigger, come and have a look, see whether you like it or whether you don't like it. Montana's Thailand retirement. Cheap dentistry guy with a hammer to put the denture in about 5. Yep. You can buy them plastic one. I think you can get them on the Lazada now, where they show you pictures with people with half teeth missing, and they just put the plastic ones up. I don't know. But Lazada's very cheap. Thumbs up. Life Joy Adventure. Thank you. Oh, 58 up now. 58 is very good. Scott Green, go Mighty Bulldogs. Okay, so 83 people in. 58 thumbs up. That's very good. So getting on to costs. Everybody's always interested in the costs over here. And obviously the big topic is people that are talking about tax at the end of the day, about people having to pay tax to live here. What's your views on paying tax here? I'll just briefly go over what they said to me about my tax. Is that I pay tax 20% on my pension over in England, but it's only taxed after 12,750. Now Thailand doesn't look at your personal allowance at 12,550 or 570, so they will tax that other 12,570 pounds, which is sort of a little bit cheeky. But you also have allowances over here as well. So when all's said and done, because I'm living on 55 to 60,000 baht a month over here, they would say I'd only have to pay maybe £1,000 a year tax if I didn't do anything. There's ways and means of getting around that. So is that too much to pay another £1,000 a year tax to live over here? I think it's a little bit cheeky, especially if you've paid tax already, but who knows? But a couple of people that I've spoken to, they reckon by July they should have something in concrete with regard to how much people are going to have to pay tax. But at the minute, I would say to people, don't be employing a tax expert at the minute to sort your tax out, because when all's said and done, even the tax experts don't know how it is as yet. So don't worry about it. Just wait until it comes. But living here is incredibly cheap. So even if you have to pay a little bit of extra for taxes and things like that, it's still not going to be prohibitively expensive. It's not going to make a life-changing difference that you're thinking, I'm not going to live here. Hi, Les and everyone. Sunny Bogner. A week into retirement now. Oh, good old retirement in Bognor. So what's the weather like in Bognor now? Is it nice and sunny? We should be getting there now because we're in April now, so it should be getting warmer. How hot has it been there? Today, it's probably in the mid-30s today. In the mid-30s today. So sort of where we live in a bit of a bubble, really. It doesn't get to 40s. And there's always, because I live near the coast, there's always a bit of a breeze here. And it's lovely. So I've got to say, I can't complain. But the people that I know that live up north in the 40s and above, that can be uncomfortable, that's for sure. I wouldn't like it that warm. The UK pound seems to be doing a bit better lately. Yeah, it is. It's above 45 now. It got up to 46 point something, but now it's come back down to 45 and a half now. So that's certainly been a lot better now than it has been, for sure. Long may it continue. Things like medical, dental, vets, mechanics, man labour is very cheap in Thailand, and the street food is cheap. Yeah, you can get somebody. A friend of ours has just asked for a cleaner, so you can get your house cleaned for a day for like 400 baht, and they'll work there for 8 hours to clean your house. 400 baht. which is about a tenner. Do you have to pay taxes when you retire? Again, that's still all up in the air yet. According to some of the tax experts or the people that I've been listening to, normal retired people will end up not paying any tax. And let's hope that is true. But according to some big tax experts, you won't be paying tax anyway, because there's Thai government are going to shoot themselves in the foot if they're wanting everybody to pay tax, because it will send people to Laos, it'll send people to Cambodia, and it'll send people to Vietnam. Now, Vietnam are looking at, before they never had a retirement visa, but even Vietnam now we're looking at retirement visa. Asian countries want our money, that is for sure. The Ruskies have caused a few problems over here in Phuket, and you'll see that in the news every day, with the Russians doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So that I would stay well away from Phuket, because the Ruskies are sort of, it's going to be little Russia, little Moscow, and all the problems that come with it. The elite visa, YouTube. I forgot her YouTube channel name. Those countries with the GTA don't have to worry about paying taxes on yeah. According to the tax guy, we can still have to pay tax, even though we've got a tax agreement for the same reason what I've just said there. That let's use £20,000 as an example. That I'm bringing in £20,000 a year over here. I get a personal allowance of 12,570 before that money gets taxed. So Thailand look that, let's just round the figures up, that I actually only pay tax on £8,000 a year. The other £12,000 a year isn't taxed. So Thailand is saying that's tax-free income. So therefore, if I bring the full £20,000, I've only paid tax on £8,000. So I could still be paying tax for 20% on the £12,000 that I haven't paid tax on already. And I can see the logic in that. But also Thailand has, you don't pay tax on the first 150,000 baht, which is roughly £4,000. So that's still £8,000 that I haven't paid tax on. But then there's also personal allowances and things like that. So it can be still complicated, even though there's a double tax agreement. It can still be taxable income, because you haven't already paid tax on your personal allowance income. And it'll be the same in America, Australia. Everybody earns a certain amount of money before they actually paid any tax. And this is what Thailand are looking at. And this is why the tax situation is so difficult. I hope I make sense with saying like that. It's not very, I'm not a tax expert, but this is what the guy said to me. Bottom line, still very, scroll up now, so I've missed some of the people's comments. Sorry about that. Yeah, bottom line is still cheap to live in Thailand. Yes, it is. 40 degrees in Chayapum. Yeah, that's hot. The pound will start to fall in the second half of this year. Interest rates get cut in the UK, so enjoy while you can, but don't get used to this level of exchange rate. Well, I've had it come all the way down to 37, and 37 was tough. So now it's at 45 to 46. Happy days. And if it stays at 45, I'll be happy at that. It's still 5 baht less than what it used to be in the 50, 51. That was good days. So coming up to 45 again, I'm getting back to pre-Brexit days when it used to be 50. Question, why is the Thai government allowed so many Russians into Thailand? They'll allow anybody in Thailand. The Chinese are the first, the amount of visitors visiting Thailand. Chinese first and the Russians are second. Now, we all understand the reason why the Russians are coming to Thailand, because they don't want to be conscripted. into their troubles, and I agree 100% with that. I'd probably do the same thing myself. But their 90-day visa exemption comes to an end this month, and I doubt very much that they'll increase it again to 90 days because of what's going on. Again, the Ruskies are opening all sorts of bars, restaurants, estate agents, taxis, tour guides and things like that, and the Thai people aren't very happy with it. What is money? Okay, so just reading the comments. Sorry about that. Yeah, so the Ruskies are causing a little bit of problems. The Thais are not very happy with the Ruskies because, acting as tour guides and opening up estate agents and running their little businesses. Now, apparently there's been quite a few arrests made with regard to people not working with the proper work permits and things like that. So that's sort of the crack in the whip a little bit, and there's going to be other people caught out with it, I think. Whether it's going to expand to the whole of Thailand, I don't know. Is there many Russians here where I live? There's a few, but not as many as there is Phuket is a beautiful part of the world, but now it's just shot up the prices for the average everyday working class people, is that they'll go and look elsewhere. And the Ruskies have got there've been some very clever little Ruskies, is that they're sort of seeing the conflict was happening. So they came over and rented a number of properties on a 5-year deal. And because they've rented a number of properties on a 5-year deal, they've got some good values, knowing the fact that there's going to be plenty of Ruskies coming over to Thailand, because Thailand still accept the Ruskies, no problem. And now that's why prices have gone up 3, 4, 5 times more than what there was before the conflict started. And same with buying properties. They're using their money, which could be laundered money, to buy properties and things like that. So who knows? There's a lot of washing going on over here at the minute. And that's what the Thailand don't like. So that will have ramifications in the future, I believe. And whether it affects everybody, and I'm sure it will, it'll be sort of a scattergun effect, and everybody's going to get targeted, I think. But who knows? I understand your argument about the portion of the pension that's not taxed. I believe that the DTA still prevents taxation. Never ask for a tax ID at immigration. Yeah. Exchange rate is likely to be 40 in the near future. That's equivalent to a 12% pay cut. The possible tax of income, anyone living on 1,000 will find it very well. Yeah, that's all supposition. Let's wait and see, won't we? It is what it is. It's like when we left Brexit, we left the European Union. Nothing us small people can do about it. You live with it every day. You make it. I adapted to the extent of the amount of. I think I lost 360 pounds a month when that happened, at its lowest, when it went down to 37. You just cut your cloth to suit, and But then with the inflation rate, when it got to like 11 and 12% in the UK, everybody still has to pay the bills. The electricity, some people are paying like £3,000-4,000 a year for the electricity bill. My electricity bill here is 15 quid for the month. So swings and roundabouts. You cut your cloth to suit, and is it going to be prohibitively expensive for me to live here? No. Even if they tax me at another 20% on the money that I bring here after I've already paid the 20%, it still doesn't make it prohibitively expensive for me not to want to live here. I think the Thai government have got to watch that they don't shoot themselves in the foot, because if they use the rule 185 days of living here, then you have to pay tax. If it became too expensive, I'd move out of here for 6 months. But you imagine the money that they're going to lose over the 6 months because people will think, I'll go and live in Vietnam, or I'll go and live in Vietnam for 3 months, or I'll go and live in Cambodia for 3 months, I'll go and live in Laos for 3 months, and then just move around for them 6 months. Or every 3 months go and live outside of the country. So it's less than 185 days. The amount of money, say 65, 70,000 baht a month they lose for the 6 or 7 months, far outweighs the amount of tax that they get. So I'm sure they're looking at all of these things as well. And I'm sure the bean counters will be assessing how much they would actually lose by imposing this tax threshold, which actually the law has been in power for the 10 years, but they haven't enforced it. It's only because the Thai government are trying to catch the wealthy tax people who were avoiding paying tax. But sadly, by casting their net out, they've caught more people, and it's the small fish that end up paying for the price as well, isn't it? And looking at it, where are the small fish? So we'll see what happens. I've 60,000 baht per month budget, struggled to spend 35,000 per month here in rural Thailand, no rent to pay, though the car payments. Fantastic. 35, yeah, I could live on that a month, and we probably will do, because one day the mortgage here will be finished and paid for, so I won't have that to pay. So 35, 55, yeah, we probably spend the same amount of money, 35 to 40,000 baht a month. It's easy enough to do if you don't have a mortgage or the rent to pay. And especially in rural Thailand, where things are much cheaper than where we live. And that's why I like Rayong, because Rayong isn't a touristy place, so therefore nothing is touristy prices. It's all reasonably priced for the food, for petrol, for everything. Well, everything. Living in a non-tourist location, everything is much cheaper. But we've still got some beautiful beaches, and we're an hour and a half away from Pattaya, 3 hours away from Bangkok, 3 hours away from Koh Chang, and we've got some beautiful beaches where we are. Koh Samet is on our doorstep, 30 minutes away, to a beautiful tropical island, Koh Samet, with one of the top 10 whitest beaches in the world, I keep telling people. So yeah, easily live on 35,000 baht a month. In fact, I've done a couple of videos on living on 35,000 baht a month. It is possible to do. How are the Russians allowed to open businesses when they're on a 90-day visa? Exactly. Yeah, the looking at that as well, by putting the business in the Thai nominee's name. There's a lot of scrutinizing going on. When will you get the state pension? That will be, it will, 2 years and 3 months, 2 years and 4 months before I get my state pension. And I was on the phone to them the other day because I was, what was it? I don't get the full pension because we contracted out, or whatever they call it. There's a special name for it. But we were contracted out, and they said to me, oh, if I paid the extra amount of money for the next 3 years, it'd go from 175 a week to £202 a week, as it is of April the 6th this year. I said, yeah, okay. I said, and I never even asked how much I had to pay for the next 3 years to up it to £202 a week. I can, because we're contracted out 175, and I said, definitely 175. And they said, yes, definitely £175 a week. I can live on that. That's a bonus to me, because even if I paid the extra money for 3 years, it's going to be taxed at 20% anyway. So for me, I can live on that amount of money, and I've cut my cloth to suit. But yeah, it's about another 45,000 baht a month, I think, when I get it. But because I live in Thailand, I will not get the inflationary rises every year, because Thailand isn't a reciprocal country. But if I lived in a reciprocal country such as the Philippines, then you get your yearly rise. But I've done another video on that as well, about how you can get your pension rise living in a reciprocal country, all legal and above board. And at the minute, it was, if you haven't had a rise from 2019 till 2024 now,
your pension has gone up 24%. So it's worth, if you're living in Thailand, to go and live in the Philippines for 6 months, and then you get another rise for £2,700 a year, which is good. Yeah, so state pension, look forward to that. Hi Les, listening on the beach at Charm. It's a hard life, isn't it? Enjoy the beach at Charm. I got back from Thailand this month. I stayed a lot in Rayong. Also went to Koh Chang and Koh Samet. Absolutely beautiful. It is. Koh Chang is probably one of my favorite islands. And Koh Samet, because it's just on our doorstep. And sometimes we just go there for the day. It's very, very nice. Gorgeous Thailand. Don't know the area well. Moved into a house, got built, but no near neighbours. I mean, Thailand, it's basically you can build wherever you want in Thailand. It's good. It's a pittance to buy back an extra 3 years. Get the figures. It's well worth it. Well, I might give them another call in and find out. I'll give them another call. Or as I said, I was happy. They said if I didn't ask, to be fair, you know, I was just happy. And she said, if I paid, there was 2 other figures that she mentioned. If I paid for 3 years, it was gone up from 175 to 202. But she said if I paid the other higher amount, it goes up to 225 a week or something like that. I don't know. But I've got me 35 years of full pension that I had to pay. But because we were contracted out, that reduced. I'll see. I'll give her a call. In fact, I'll do that on Monday, tomorrow, just to put my mind at rest. Because you've just said if it is a pittance, then it might be worthwhile paying it. We shall see. But £175 a month extra, £175 a week extra, that'll come in nice. If we do pay taxes in Thailand, do we receive any benefits? No, you get nothing. Pay your tax and get nothing. It's like now, I get no benefits from England, even though they take tax off me for my pension. I get nothing from England. Technically, because I've lived over here for more than 6 months, I'm not entitled to free healthcare. It takes 2 years to get back on that list. I'm not entitled to any housing benefits or any other benefits whatsoever because I've lived out of, but they'll still take me tax off me every month, which I don't mind paying. It is what it is. And there's no way around not paying tax in England. Even if I become a citizen of Thailand, which is 95,000 baht to become a citizen of Thailand. So, and then I wouldn't be a citizen of UK, I'd be a citizen of Thailand. But because the income is earned in England, I'll still have to pay taxes. So there's no way around the tax. Les, I paid my 2 years, extra years. The payback for me was 3 years. Well, I've done me 35 years, so I can't understand why they're saying I have to pay any extra, because the maximum you could pay was 35 years, and then I could claim the full amount. But because we were contracted out, it is always going to be a lesser amount. So anyway, for my own peace of mind, and the people that put it in the comments, I'll make the phone call. I'll find out. We'll see wherever it is. Originally went to Phuket, when come to Thailand, went to Patong about 5 years ago. The difference was staggering. Can you imagine what it must have been out? Yeah. How luxurious would my life be if I had a budget for 100,000 baht per month? Can I eat steak and sushi every day? Thailand. Can I get the best medical? Well, I will be on 100,000 baht a month in 2 years' time. So if you ask me in 2 years' time, I'll tell you, because that's how much income I'll have every month. 100,000. That would be fantastic. But yeah, you can still get medical insurance. I'll be 66
in 3 months when I'm on 100,000 baht a month. Do I know what the Aussie dollar is at the moment? Give me 1 second and I will tell you. The Aussie dollar. Come on. Australian dollar. For $1.93, it's 45 baht. So if I just put $1 there, for $1 Australian dollar, you get 23.66 for $1 Australian dollar. So the dollar to the pound is very good. It's almost $2. I remember in 2010 it was almost $2 when we went to Australia, but Australia was still expensive. £120 a night, which is almost $240 a night to stay in a hostel in Kingstown, Sydney during the week of Christmas and New Year. That was mega bucks. Yeah, 23.60 something it is. Question: I want to retire. Can you help me? I have a pension of 3,000 euros a month. I can help you. I've helped many people retire over here. Sent them in the right direction for visas and things like that. Or explained to them how we can do it. I've even took a couple of people down to Pattaya to sort things out. And I've done that. And we do sort of that. If you want to have a consultation with me, it's $10 to have a chat to me face-to-face through WhatsApp. So just send me an email. I'll put my email on the bottom here. 58 at. So Leslie Pearson 58 at yahoo.com. And as I say, for $10, whether it lasts for an hour or 2 hours, you can ask any questions that you want and I'll let you know the answers. And if you don't get the answers that you're asking for, then you don't even pay the $10. It's that easy. And you only pay after the conversation anyway. So I can point you in the right direction. But yes, we also do a service, which I'll tell you about if you want to have a face-to-face chat. And we can pick it up from the airport. We'll take it to wherever you need to go. And we'll help you put all your ducks in a row, show you around, show you the ropes, if you like. And we've done this to a few people. And it helps, and that in itself will save you thousands of baht if you know the ropes and the workarounds for various bits and pieces. So yeah, we do that, but send me an email and we can have a face-to-face chat on WhatsApp. It may cost you £2,000 for 3 years, but you are getting 30 quid a week pay rise. It pays for itself in a few years, but you get it for the life. If you live to the age of 80, it will be a fantastic investment. Yeah, I'll have a look. I'll see what they say, Lee. Thanks very much for that. Plenty of Johns. Yeah, so 3,000 euros a month. You can have a good time on that. Leslie will tell you what the payback in years is. If you ask, no. It is 40 years at our age, not 30. Well, I was told that I paid the full amount at 35 years because I did have a couple of businesses as well that I paid national insurance contributions. So maybe that's had something to do with it. I don't know. In the same boat myself, was opted at second SERPs, but the extra was put towards the company pension, allegedly boosting it by the same amount or more. Well, again, I get my private pension from the fire brigade. So, again, swings and roundabouts. At the time, we were advised by our union and our elected officials to, opt out of it. So we all opted out of it. It was what it was. Go online and check your account if you are fully funded. Yeah, I went online and then they said, I actually talked to the lady and she said, yeah, I've paid the full amount, 35 years. But she did say something, if I paid a little bit extra, she didn't tell me how much, but I will give them a ring again on Monday because a few people have mentioned it and it'll be interesting to know.
But she said, yeah, you paid the full amount 35 years and £175 a week as it is now, guaranteed it'll be no less than that. So I've worked my figures out on that £175 a week, and I'm happy even if it's that. But if it's only a small amount to pay for the next 3 years, then or 2.5 years, then I'll go down that. I'll see what it is, and I'll let you know. I'll do a video about it. Yeah, so John's journey, yeah, 3,000 euros a month. You can live a good life on 3,000. Like I said, do the face-to-face chat with me, and I'll let you know. Les, where's the closest immigration? It was Mataput. It's about 45 minutes away from where I live in Rayong. But I do the 90 days online, so I don't have to go down. We just go down to the immigration office once a year now, and that's when we do our marriage visa, which is, again, a pain in the backside, but it is what it is. And we do that, and it's simple enough to do, but there's a lot of paperwork to do with a marriage visa. Now, the difference in the marriage visa, I only have to show 40,000 baht a month, where the retirement visa I have to show 65,000 baht a month. And as we're married, we do the 40,000 baht a month income method, because we don't spend 65,000 baht a month. We only spend about 55 to 60,000. And it's only gone up now because we're buying the house. Before, it used to be 50,000 baht a month. So as soon as we got married, that's what we did. That's why we did the marriage visa, because then you only have to show 40,000 baht a month. Swings and roundabouts. So yeah, the closest immigration office is Mataput. It's 45 minutes away from where we live. Is Bangkok better for meeting a girlfriend than Pattaya or Chiang Mai? Yeah, that's a hard one to say. You can meet a beautiful girl in any place, in any province. There's a girl that works with my wife, sells sausages on a weekend, and she sells chicken on a stick. And to be honest with you, I've been down and had my sausages, and the girl that works on the chicken on a stick next to my wife, because she's similar age to my wife, and they get on well together, so they chat. You wouldn't give her a second glance. You just look at anything, chicken on a stick, whatever. And we were at an event, and there was this stunningly beautiful girl, and I looked and I did a double look, because she was just like, wow, you're beautiful. And she started waving at me like that, and I'm like, oh, and I'm thinking, oh, I've been caught looking. And she's, hi Les, where's Ploy? And it's just like, Ploy. And she saw it. She said, it's my friend who sells the chicken on the stick. And she was beautiful, stunningly beautiful. So you can meet them anywhere, type of thing, and she really, really was a pretty girl. But just looking at, you wouldn't look at her twice on the seafront, the way in the uniform that she wears, selling chicken on the stick. And she's self-employed, and that's how she makes her money. But yeah, you can meet a beautiful girlfriend in Bangkok, in Pattaya, and in Chiang Mai, and anywhere else in Thailand. But you've got to look, they are there, and they're not all, a lot of people knock bar girls, but a bar girl doesn't want to be a bar girl all of her life. So don't poo-poo the idea of if the girl says she works in a bar. So just take it. And if you've got that gut feeling that she's a nice girl, then go with your gut feeling. But if you have the same gut feeling to say she's not a nice girl, move away, move somewhere else. I've done a video on that about the 3 strikes rule. So give that a look, about finding a nice girl, and you can have a good life. And there's a lot of nice girls, and there's lots of not so nice girls. It's up to you to weed them out, if you like. HMRC will say you have to pay either 170 or 800 pounds for each year missing, but you have to complete a couple of forms to see if it's class 2 or 3. Yeah, I do remember seeing something about 800 pounds, something like that. But I've not paid into the system since I retired. So for 14 years, I've not paid anything into the system at all. So But I've had me full 35 years because that's what they've said. Do Thai girlfriend expects financial support from their expat boyfriend? How much per month is considered to be fair amount to give your girlfriend per month? Oh, I've had so many conversations about this one. Okay, let me go into this. I could talk for hours just on this one subject about the expectations of financial support. Okay, here we go. There is no benefit system over here in Thailand. Nothing at all. If you don't work, you don't get any money and you don't get any benefits. So your girlfriend will have certain responsibilities of family, friends, if she's got a child or anything. So she will be working to earn some money. If you want her to be with you full time, then you've got to compensate that girl for not working all the time. So if the girl still works, then your compensation level is a little bit less. But then, for instance, we were discussing this with my wife on the way back from Pattaya. When she worked in the shirt factory, she got 1 day off a week. That's all. She got 1 day off a week. The rest of it, she was working. She got 4 days annual holiday a year. And all of the official Thai holidays she got off, which she worked because she got double time for. So officially, she only got 1 day a week off and 4 annual holiday days that she couldn't add on to a public holiday, things like that. So they get very, very, very little time off. So if you want to be with a Thai girl and you want to go on holidays and things like that, and if she's working, it's impossible because she can't take the time off. She can't just say, oh, okay, I'll have some time off like that. Impossible. So if you want the Thai girlfriend to be with you full time, then you've got to compensate her to be with you for full time, which I do for my wife. I give my wife a monthly salary. She never asks me for another penny because the amount of money that I give her compensates her that she doesn't have to work. And we can just pack a suitcase and go on holiday tomorrow. Now that comes at a financial cost. So she doesn't have to work, so she can be with me 24 hours a day and we can go on holiday anytime we want. If she was working, then the financial cost would be less, but also the restrictions would be less. So you've got to strike a balance for like the average salary now for a Thai person is about between 9 and 12,000 baht a month. So I would say start at that figure. If you want the girl to be with you full time, you're looking at 10,000 baht a month is what they would working full time. But then for that 10,000 baht a month, they'll clean the house and they'll cook your dinners and they'll take care of you and things like that because they don't have to work because they can be at home. So that's what I would say is a ballpark figure. If you want the girl to be with you and enjoy holidays and enjoy retirement. I had a girlfriend who was a language school teacher, and she had 2 days a week off. And then she wanted to be a chef. So it was her dream to be a chef. So I said, listen, I'll fund you being a chef. I'll give you what you're earning at the language school, 13,000 baht a month, thinking then afterwards, once she starts getting paid, I don't have to give her the 13,000 baht. But I was kind enough to say, listen, it's your dream. I love the girl. I was with her. She was a beautiful girl. So I funded her because she couldn't work at the language school and learn to be a chef. She learned to be a chef from one of the king's ex-cooks. So she really, really had a good schooling, if you like. But then she went from working 5 days a week to 6 days a week. And I gave her the funding. And this was for a 6-month period. And then she got a job at the Dusat Thani, again, working for free to get the qualifications to be. And she was with the pastry chef and the sous chefs and everything. And she was a very good cook anyway. So then she was working 6 days a week. So I was taking her to work and picking her up 7 o'clock in the morning, picking her up at 7 o'clock in the evening, and she had 1 day a week off. So we did nothing during just seeing each other for 2 or 3 hours on a night time, go to bed because she was tired and getting up in the morning. And I'm thinking, this is not what I retired for. So end of the story. She came and said, Les, I've been given an opportunity to go and work in America, Nevada for 6 months. Come with me to America. I said, no, I don't want to go to America. I said, this is your dream, so you go and live it. So we sort of split up company from there. But I was thinking at the time, I haven't retired to be with a girl that works 6 days a week or 7 days a week. I think it's not what I want. So we parted. So that's what I'm saying. There's lots and lots of variations on whether you pay somebody or whether you don't. But I would say if you're going to give somebody a salary, you draw the lines and the red lines at the very, very beginning of a relationship. The fact that you're not responsible for a parent, you're not responsible for the sick dog or the sick buffalo. And if family and friends come, there's a limitation on how much you'll spend, family and friends and something. You are not the cash cow. You are not the ATM to pay for everybody else. And if you give your girlfriend a salary, this is what it is. If she wants her clothes and medications, makeup, so it comes out of her salary. It doesn't come out of your salary. Now, I give my wife a salary, and I also pay for the insurance for the house, the mortgage for the house, the bike. We've just bought a brand new bike. I pay for that, the finance on that. So that's something. You set your stall out, and you stick to that line. You don't go above it, and you certainly don't go below it. But money over here, it's a very, very big subject. Get your ducks in a row from the early on, so everybody knows where the splodge and you're both on the same page. It might take 2 or 3 times to explain, but get it done early doors. I hope that sort of explains everything, but I could talk on hours for this one. Some people say you rent your girlfriend, it's prostitution, things like that. It's how you put it in your own mind. When I traveled around the world for 2 years, my wife at the time couldn't work, could she? So therefore I had to give her money to support her. So what's the difference? I'm traveling around the world and giving my wife money to live on every month because she couldn't work. It's the same over here. I don't want my wife to work so we can go on holiday. So I have to give her some money to support her. What's the difference? Somebody's thought process is that you're renting your wife. But I also rented my wife in the UK that I worked 3 or 4 jobs so she didn't have to work. Is that the same thing? I don't know. You can look at it how you want to do, but finances do come into play when you live here in Thailand, that's for sure. Les, the opt-out was an employers and employer pay less national insurance. Employers made out like bandits. Employers were supposed to top up well, I don't know how it works. But as I say, it is what it is. Many years ago, the new state pension, I just got through paying 2 years NI. Yeah, well, I said I've got 35 years. So they said my full pension was at 175 because we opted out. Anyway, I'll ask that question on Monday. Question, I want to retire there at the pension of €3,000 a month. Again, we've talked about that. €3,000 a month, fantastic amount of money. Mine the same, but was the idea the extra put towards boosting your company pension so you didn't lose out. It is what it is. Your ex-wife, Les, nasty piece of work. Sorry, say mate. Well, yeah, I've got no regrets. Whilst we were married, she was a lovely girl, and I won't go into the reason why we got divorced, but it was very sad why we got divorced. Mental issues and things like that, but it was what it was, and I ended up paying the piper. And as the solicitor says, this is the price of freedom. Cost me a lot of money, far much more than getting married. No, I wouldn't say she was a nasty piece of work. She's done what she's done out of jealousy or envy and things like that. And jealousy and envy, I don't have time for. I'm jealous and envious of nobody. I just get on with my life. And I even said to her, I said, if I didn't make you happy, please go and find somebody that makes you happy. Anyway, but she still poisoned the girls' minds over a number of years, and I pay for that. Compliment, gangster who never took any shit. You would
got rid of your ex-wife. I wouldn't want to do that. You know, I wouldn't wish any harm on my ex-wives. It was what it was, and I've got no axe to grind. I just hope they have a happy life. As I say, I've never been a vengeful, spiteful, jealous person ever. Just get on with your own life. But I do know some people who like snarling, oh, the ex-wife's like, oh yeah, whatever. I just said, get over that. There's no need for that at all. Just get on with it. You know, and this is, they've been divorced for 10 years and they're still angry and jealous and bitter and so mad that, you know, their ex-wives did. Just get on with it. It is what it is, you know. Living with it's full of hate, and just get rid of all the hate out of there. Just be peaceful and kind and Buddhist-like. Just, you can't change the past, but you can change the future. And happiness is in there. If you're happy in there, then you're happy in mind and body also. But living with hatred, it eats away at you like cancer. Just get rid of it. Yeah. A wise account with linked debit card can be very greatly reduce monthly needs and transfer it to Time Bank. Yeah, I use Wise every month to transfer money across. I don't have the card. I've never really needed the card. I just transfer my monthly amount using Wise, which is the cheapest way of doing it. When say half the money, yeah, I can see that there's always a ways and means of avoiding paying tax, and like the tax experts, I'll have ways and means to do it. So people are worried about trying to squirrel away or save a little bit of money. I don't think it's ever going to come to that. I've lived with my ex-wife. I've lived with my wife 8 years in Buriram. Paid zero to the family. All is fine. Same as me employee. Been married for 6 years. Been together 8 years in July. And if I've given any money to Ply's family, it's because I willingly give it to them. And it's when you see nice people working so bloody hard for what they have, and for a small amount of money, you improve their lifestyle. And they've never asked for it. It's just the generosity of my good-heartedness and willing to see and help other people that are willing to help and do whatever themselves. For me, it's a small amount to pay. We paid for 2 lakes, ponds. I would say ponds, not lakes. And the first one was 35,000 baht, price of a 55-inch TV at the time. And now they have their own fish. They have water to water the fields. They have fruit trees that they can give plenty of water to. So that 35,000 baht is paid for itself many times over. And then the second, we paid 35,000 baht for a big pond. And that was on their farmland that they had as well. And now they have their own fish and they sell the fish. So that also makes money for them. And they also have fruit trees around the lake. So by spending a total of 70,000 baht on 2 lakes, it's made a whole load of difference to the quality of the produce that they make and the return in investment. And it's nice to help people out that are genuine, hardworking people, and they never ask anything of anybody. And that, to me, that gives me a good feeling, that the fact that they didn't ask for the money, I willingly give them it, because I said, what will make your mum and dad happier at the minute? They didn't ask for anything. They didn't ask for a TV, didn't ask for a sofa, didn't ask for a new kitchen. And I said, I'll either put a pump in them for groundwater. And her dad, through translation with he said, can you have a lake? Because then I can see how much water there is and we can grow fish and we can sell the fish. That'll do for me. So for the same price as putting a borehole in, they had a lake. And by having a lake, they can water the fruit trees and they can also have their own fish. So they're almost self-sustainable now, which is a fantastic feeling that you've helped somebody do that. All right. So well done for being with your wife for 8 years. I'm 6 years into that, but we've been together for 8 years and she's never asked for a penny for her parents. When I met her, she was 19. I was 39. Well done. How much does Wise charge? Transfer money, X Bank charges £9 rate. Brilliant. I get sent over 55 to 60,000 baht a month, and that's about £8. £8 it cost me to send the money from the UK over to Thailand, which isn't a lot of money, is it? That rent to buy scheme that you have on the house there, is that common? Something I'd be interested in doing. How long is the repayment plan? The rent to buy scheme, yes, it isn't common, but it does happen. In fact, one of my other subscribers has just bought a house, $1 million baht house. It's not the best house in the world. It wants some fixing up to be done, but he's bought that on a rent to buy scheme. Now, I'm going to do a video on the rent to buy scheme because there's a couple of people have asked me to do a video on their houses because they're willing to sell their houses on a rent to buy scheme. One of them's at Rayong Palm Beach. It's a 3-bedroom house, very close to the beach, and that's 3.2 million. And he's prepared to do it on a rent to buy scheme between 5 and 7 years, but no longer than 7 years. So it can be done. But as I said, and that's for 3.2 million. So, but that's up between you and the seller. It's not very common, but 5 years is the sweet spot, really, is that if you look at a house and you're offered them to buy on a rent to buy basis, but you have to make the deal attractive to them. For instance, like for me, I said to our landlady, if we walk away from this house, no matter what we paid, they retain any money that we pay. So we put a 200,000 baht deposit and we pay a certain amount of money every month. If me and the wife split up, or I walked away, or Play walked away, and I walked away from the house, I wouldn't get any money back whatsoever. But once I paid the last payment, then the house becomes ours. So, yeah, so a rent to buy scheme, you can do that. Okay. What I meant to say, that using a Wise card means a lot of UK money never ever sees a Thai bank. The banks have ways of tracking the card or the money, because you've got to use an ATM card or you can pay it. There's ways and means, because one of the tax experts said that, for people who said they're going to use the ATM, if you keep using the ATM to draw money out, that is flagged up, because your name will be linked to it in some way, so they can actually see if you're drawing money out through a ATM card. So if they want, they will find out what they want to know. But again, think John is a stone. So yeah, if they want to know, they'll find out. Just be over and above everything. It's never ever going to be prohibitively expensive to even pay your taxes here. And as I say, why not? Just accept it. With a Wise card, you get 2 free cash transfers a month, or at least I do. Morning, Les. Morning, White Van Man. Again, I've never bothered with the card, so I just use Wise to send me money over once a month, and that's it. Like most capital cities, Bangkok is expensive. That's why most expats live outside of Bangkok, as it's chaotic there. Yeah, I like Bangkok in short spurts. Like I like going on a holiday to Bangkok for 1 or 2 days. It's exciting, it's vibrant, it's very, very, very good. In fact, we're going to go there for Songkran next year. Me and the wife's already talked about it. We enjoyed it so much at Pattaya Songkran and Bangkok, near the icon Siam. That's the place to be. So that's the place we're going to go next year. And just party for the day, because we can't do 2 days. One day, and like all day yesterday, we just sat in the condo. We rented a condo for 2 days, so we had enough. It wasn't just a hotel room, so we could just chill out and relax. We had beautiful views over the city and what's going on, and we went out to Central Festival for something to eat, and the rest of the time we just sat in the condo all day, watching the TV and yeah. But the night before, we were from 2 o'clock in the afternoon until gone midnight before we got home, and the music didn't stop until 3 o'clock in the morning. So it was good, and we're looking forward to Bangkok for next year for doing that. Let's have a look. Yeah, congratulations on the near 10,000 subs, mate. Hit the likes, people. Oh, I've got 112 likes. Oh, that's brilliant. Before I joined the live stream today, I had 12 more people to go, and then I've hit the 10,000 mark, which is fantastic. So hopefully after this live stream, I might have another 12 subscribers and hit the 10,000. Then once I've done the 10,000, that's when I'm going to offer the prize and do the video and 2 nights accommodation at a beautiful resort near us. And it's for 2 people for 2 nights, and we'll buy the meals for the first night, not the drinks, because you can drink a lot. And we'll do that, and we'll spend the day, and we'll put the world to right, and whatever. It's a nice location. It's a beautiful place. But that's what the prize is going to be, and I'll do a video about that once I've hit the 10,000 subscribers, which I think maybe today or tomorrow. We're so close there anyway. We're 121 thumbs up, 122 thumbs up now. Fantastic. Brilliant. Is that the virtual card as they destroyed my debit card? The bank sent here. Has it been hot in Jomtien? It was very hot yesterday and the day before, but the day before from 2 o'clock until gone midnight, we never was dry. We were at the Central, and there's a big courtyard in the Central, and there was a band playing there. Must have been a couple of thousand people there, and we were just bobbing, and constantly they're just spraying water on you for the hour and a half that we were stood there. And then we went to another concert on the beach, and again they were just spraying just water all day and every day. And Soy 7, Soy 8, and we went around Tree Town, we went to Soy Bacau. So it was just constantly wet, but it was really, really good fun. Now there's lots of people that hated it. A couple of old guys that we talked to came at the wrong time of year. They didn't know anything about Songkran and hated every minute of it being there. But when I told them the 19th was the end of it, and then after that they won't get wet, they were quite happy at that. But yeah, some people don't like the water festival. I loved it, mate. Hello from Norway. Good morning, good afternoon from Norway. Nice that you could join us. Thanks very much for joining. I love living in Bangkok. It's full of fun and has the best restaurants and malls, transportations, and it is. Bangkok is a fabulous place to go. I've seen a couple of live bands in Bangkok. The river cruise is good. Chatuchak Market is fantastic. Khao San Road is good. Lupini Park. Yeah, it's just lovely. Bangkok is an exciting place to go to for sure. And as we're looking forward to it already for Songkran next year. But we've got so many things planned for this year, like Christmas and New Year. We're going up to going up north. We're going to Pai, Chiang Mai, and Khao Rak Yai. I think it's Khao Rak Yai. It's sort of the most northernest point that you can get to in Thailand. Ban Rak Thai, that's it. Ban Rak Thai.
and there's a lot of Chinese influence in there, and the houses we're staying in are in the tea farm, so the terraced. So we're looking forward to that. We're going there for a week, and then going to Pai for Christmas, and then Chiang Mai for New Year to set the lanterns off. So that's almost a month away in December when we go there, and it's my birthday in July. I think we're going to an island somewhere near us. Forget what it's called, but it's near Koh Mak, I think it is. It's called. But we're going there for a week or so. So we've got plenty of holidays planned for this year as well. But that's the best thing about being retired and having a girlfriend that you can just go away with. Ben Will, hi Les, today is the first time I've seen your channel just popped up and my recommendations. I'm planning retire in Thailand 4 years. 4 years, then I turn 50. Just subscribe. Cheers. Okay, thanks, Ben. Welcome to the channel. There's over 400 videos, so you've got plenty of viewing to do. And as I say, all the information I give is good, valuable information. And there's no BS. It is what it is. And I'll tell people how it is here. I went to Mopish to listen to Motorhead. Yeah. Again, there's some good Mariah Carey we went to see in Bangkok. We were sat 2 rows from the back and we paid £70 per ticket. And Mariah Carey was like that. And we worked it out. She was on stage for a 2-hour concert. She was on stage for 20 minutes because every song she sang, she went off for a costume change. So there was like a filler band that came in. So 20 minutes out of a 2-hour show for 70 quid. And everybody were asking more, like, you know, sing some more. And she never, ever came back on for an encore. So there's a lot of people who were booing her when they went out of the stadium. So 70 quid. I wouldn't pay 70 quid to go and see her again. Hello, Les. Songkran was hot in Bangkok this year. Well, it was hot. I think it was hot everywhere. Hi, Les. Can foreigners use government hospitals? Someone told me a lot of the doctors in government hospitals are the same as private hospitals. If so, is medical insurance not too important? Yeah, you can. What your friend told you, a lot of the doctors that work in the private hospitals do work in the government. There's something that the government say because the government have taught them to be doctors, so they've got to do a certain amount of time in a public hospital, and that's true. And yes, in a public hospital, you'll still get good medical treatment because when all said and done, a doctor is a doctor. He still has to pass the same qualifications, and it might not be as experienced as the ones that work in the private medical hospitals full time, but you will get good treatment. And on some of the medical insurance as well, like I've said to my wife, that if anything happens to me, send me to the public hospital first. And the public hospital in Rayong is on our list of hospitals that they will treat you. So the insurance will go a lot further in our local public hospital than it would do in the private hospital. And I said to Ply, I said, send me to the public hospital first. So my insurance will go further. So you can do that. You can actually use a lot of the public hospitals on your insurance. And again, that's a better way of getting, you know, more treatment for your money that you've got. Yeah, so foreigners can use the government hospitals. And for a couple of people that I know, that the treatment in the public hospitals has been very reasonably priced. My friend got diagnosed with TB, tuberculosis, and he was in a public hospital for a week in a private room, and his treatment for the week was 55,000 baht for a week, 7 days in a public hospital. And he's seeing the doctor every day, he got his medication, he's got treatment. So therefore, 55,000 baht isn't a lot of money for a week, is it? If you haven't got 55,000 baht, it's a lot of money, yeah, but he doesn't have any medical insurance, and he's 64-year-old, coming up 64-year-old. So again, he can live here without medical insurance, but it's a big risk. And I would still say to people, for the cost, get your medical insurance, because it's better. It cost me 25,000 baht a year for medical insurance, and that covers me for 700,000 baht for medical treatment, which is better than nothing at all, isn't it? I can find 25,000 baht a lot easier than I can find 700,000 baht if something went wrong. So yeah, have a look at it. We still have minus degrees at night, but now the sun has come. Waiting for summer. Will retire in December. Yeah, again, when I went back to the UK, I went because sadly my stepdad died in November, and I was called for 9 weeks. I stayed in England during November and December, and I came back over here January the 13th, and I was freezing cold. And my sister used to have the window open, and my sister used to get up at 5, 6 o'clock every morning and go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. So there were long days, and I slept on the sofa for the 9 weeks I was there. So I was cold. I was sat there with a fleece, 2 shirts on, and a duvet during the day because I was bloody cold. And whilst I was over in England for 9 weeks, 3 of them weeks I was ill. I had tonsillitis and a very, very bad infection in my throat. In fact, it was sort of touch and go whether I could actually get the flight to come back because I was so weak. And I went to the doctors a day before I came back to Thailand, and I said, listen, just give me something for the pain. I said, because I'm going back to Thailand. So she gave me some very super duper high strength tablets to take the pain away. And then once I set foot in Bangkok again, I've been back now almost a year and a half, and I've never been ill. So the warm weather has got something to say about healthiness and feeling good and feeling better. Nobody likes the cold. Horrible. I'll try never ever to go back to England again in the winter. During the summer months, I don't mind it, but the winter, definitely not. Les, my home is already paid off, and I'm already retired at the age of 55. Well done. On a pension from my job. Would I be better off just staying here and just visiting Thailand for 6 months per year? It's up to you. You know, if you like living in both worlds, you know, then do that. You know, I'm sure you'll have family and friends and relations over there. For me, I've just got my sister, and that's all. But we speak on a monthly basis. We've sort of never been in each other's pockets type of thing. So I've got 2 daughters who despise the ground that I walk on. So for me, there's no reason to go back to England. And all my family and all my friends should say that they've got their own lives to lead type of thing. So every time I go back to England, I'll go and make the effort and see everybody. But for me, there's no reason for me to go back to England. So that's why I stay in Thailand for 12 months of the year. But family and friends can be important, so do whatever suits you. You know, at the end of the day, if you want to live in the UK and Thailand for half of the year, fantastic. You know, if you stay in the UK for 6 months under the new tax agreements or tax laws, you've sort of got the best of both worlds. Because if you live in England for the 6 years, you'll get your pension rise. I know you're quite a way away from your pension rise anyway, but you won't have to pay tax if the new tax laws come into Thailand, because you only have to pay Thai tax if you live over here for more than 185 days a year. So yeah, keep an eye on the situation and do what suits you. I think eventually you'll get the fact that you think, Thailand is better than this, better than that, and you'll drift towards living in Thailand. Doesn't the ambulance driver just take you to the nearest hospital or the one that gives you the kickback? No, you can ask to be taken to a certain hospital, but it is true that they may take you to the Bangkok hospital, but obviously I'll have my wife with me, but because I've got insurance, I could go to any hospital and it will treat me, if you like, because I've got the medical card, which is always on me. It's always in my wallet. How long is it a good time for a trip to Chiang Rai, Chiang Mai? Chiang Rai and Chiang Mai is beautiful. Oh, There we go. We've been looking at videos of Bangkok, and my word, compared to 40 plus years ago, it's clean and safe and interesting, with more places to eat than arguably any city on earth. It's such a, you can get anything and everything in Bangkok. It is such a vast, and virtually every street is different. John's Journeys, I think this must be a bit of a spam question. I want to, it's the same question, a pension of 3,000, and I'm 71. I've answered that, and as I say, I don't know why it keeps popping up, but it keeps popping up. But 3,000 euros a month at 71-year-old, you can have a fantastic time. Yeah, John's Journey, he's stone. Yeah. I'm the same, Les. I have good friends and no siblings. So yeah, basically whatever suits you, you know. Before I met Ploy, I was going to go around Europe. I was going to go and get a van with a mattress and a porta potty and go and travel around Europe. Because I didn't have a Thai girlfriend at the time for 9 months, and I was prepared. I think I'll go and live in Europe for 6 months, and I'll go and live in Thailand for 6 months. And then I met Ploy, and everything changed from that minute. And now me and Ploy have been together for almost 8 years. And I've got to say, it's probably the better option than traveling around Europe in a van with a mattress and a porta potty. But I love traveling. And as I say, we have a fair amount of holidays here with more to come. And when I get me state pension in a couple of years' time, that is just all going to be spent on traveling. Because when I leave this world, I want to leave the world as I came into it, with nothing. And if I owe the bank £1, then I've spent my money wisely and I've spent it well. I want to enjoy what money I have doing the things that I want to do. I want to have a head full of memories and a bank book full of zeros with £0 in there or £0 in it, because then I know I've spent it. My wife is taken care of when I curl my toes up, so she'll never ever have to work, because she'll be financially okay with my pension, because she gets my pension not my state pension, she gets my private pension for the rest of her life. So she's taken care of financially. I want to do lots and lots of things whilst I can, because when you get older, you can't do it. So do it while you can, for as long as you can. A lot of expats have said that it is no good to live in Thailand for all year round. Like burning season, hang on, I've got something come up. Like burning season is bad in Thailand. It is, and it's correct up in Chiang Mai, but down here it's not so bad. Some people don't like rainy season with all the flooding. I'm surrounded by lakes here. Our home is called Lake Home. It's never ever flooded where I am, ever. And Rayong, okay, we get a bit of flooding going on there. Rainy season, I can't think of one time where it's rained for more than a day or 2 days at the most, but not heavy, torrential rain, just like gentle rain all day for 2 days or something. But when it does rain, boy, it does come down heavy for maybe an hour or 2 hours, and then the sun will come out. So the rainy season actually isn't very, very bad at all here. It's okay. There is flooding. Of course there's flooding. I mean, look at Dubai the other day. The worst rain it's had in 70 years or something like that. A year and a half's rain fell in 24 hours. Who could predict that? It's a once in a lifetime flood, isn't it? So you take it, swings and roundabouts. We're coming into rainy season now. So for 3 months, we'll have a few cloudy, a bit of rain. It's nothing to worry about at all. The burning season up in Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, yeah, a lot of people complain about that. But it's not just Thailand. It's Myanmar, it is Cambodia, it's Laos. They burn the sugar canes off. And it's bad, but a lot of people move away for 3 or 4 months. But would I live in Chiang Mai for that reason? No, I wouldn't, because I've got emphysema, so pollution, stuff like that wouldn't do me any good. So, yeah.
Okay, right. My chat's disconnected for some reason. I don't know what's happened there. Question: I want to retire there. Can you help me? I got a foot infection. Went to the local hospital and had to stay 4 nights on antibiotics. After they cut it out, doctor spoke perfect English. Cost was very, very low for a private room with aircon. Exactly. So another friend of mine had to have, well, not so much of a friend, but he had an accident. He had to have 2 toes amputated because he was drunk driving a motorbike. Stupid man. Drunk driving a motorbike also, just stupid. But that cost him 20,000 baht to get 2 toes amputated. Now he can't walk on his own 2 feet. Yeah, for 3 months, this time of the year can be very hot and humid. Get some flooding, but pollution from burning, not too bad where I am. Okay, spin that down a little bit if I can. Put one of them. Okay. Yeah, so pollution, a couple of times the air quality, Rayong was sort of in a bit of a bubble, really. It's good because it's not that bad, the pollution wise. But I've seen it in Bangkok where they have the dust masks on and things like that. The pollution is but Bangkok's, because it's such a big, vast city, it just sucks up all of that heat. So therefore, there's people who complain about it being hot and humid and with the pollution. You put all them things together and it isn't a nice part of the world to live in. But it's still exciting. Go, do your research. Look at the best times to visit Bangkok. Look at the best times to visit Chiang Rai. And I think every place has its faults. But for me, living here in Rayong, it ticks a lot of boxes because it's not on the tourist map, tourist location. It's not that bad because the prices are very reasonable to live here. So that's my little spin on Rayong. But everybody, do your research, check around different places. That's YouTube. YouTube is a phenomenal with the information that thing can give you, in the local areas. They are the knowledgeable people because they live there. I've lived here now in Rayong for 10 years. And I loved it. I lived in Jomtien near Pattaya for 2 years. So I can tell people, where to go live in Jomtien. Jomtien is just outside the madness. But it's 10 baht to get into the center of Pattaya from Jomtien. There was an American guy who said to me that he was going to, get Grab or Bolt taxi to do that. And I showed him, no, if you get one of these Baht buses, it's 10 baht to get it. Cheap as chips, 10 baht, Some of the nice restaurants in Pattaya are very, very cheap to eat. Terminal 21 upstairs in the food court, 60 or 70 baht for a meal. It's brilliant. It really, really is cheap. Basically every central festival there's a food court, and you can go and eat very, very reasonably well-cooked meals for that amount of money. Oh, the chat is disconnected. Please wait whilst we try to reconnect you. I don't know why the chat is disconnected for some reasons. For some reason it's gone off. I don't know. Right, I don't know why it's gone off the chat. So I'm missing some of the messages or whatever. So anyway, we've done 3 hours and 3 minutes. So I'm going to draw it at the close on that. So it's another 3-hour session. And I'm still a little bit weary from my Pattaya journey. So I'm going to draw an end to that one because the chat stopped as well. So, hang on. We're coming back in here. When's the burning season in Chiang Mai? It's now sort of 3 months of the year, December, January and February. I watched the flooding in the city next door in Pattaya last year. I also remember that your neighbour Ross in Rayong. Yeah, I seen Ross. He got a brand new Havel. His electric car got flooded.
He's just built a swimming pool at his house, as Ross. Yeah. Why won't you answer I've answered the questions, John. I said, give me a call and I'll send you an email address. So, in fact, I'll give you an email address again, John, just in case you missed it. If you want to have a chat, Leslie Pearson 58 at yahoo.com. There you go, John. I've said many times, for €3,000 a month, you can have a fantastic life over here. And if you want some help and advice to do it, send me an email and we can arrange a face-to-face talk on WhatsApp. And then you can get all the information, ask me all the questions. And if you don't get the information that you want, then you don't have to pay the $10 for the call. So again, as I said, just send me an email. We'll arrange a WhatsApp call face to face. Yeah, so John, I've answered the question. €3,000 a month, you'll have a fantastic lifestyle on 3,000 a month. Send me an email and we'll arrange a face-to-face talk, and then you can ask any questions what you want, and then, as I said, that will put you into the wherever you want. But €3,000 a month, fantastic amount of money to live on here. PJ, off to Singer later. I've got a Samsung. I've still got some Samsung left and Coke, so that's why I'll be having a tipple today, Samsung and Coke. Jim Craig, cheers, Les. Thanks very much. Scott Green, good night, Les. Well done. Thanks very much, Scott. Take care, mate. Les, can you recommend a good company for dinner river cruise? Yeah, on the prior river, there's I can't remember the names of the boats, but they're all about the same. It's about 1,000 to 1,200 baht a night. Between 900 and 1,200 baht per person for a cruise from the Icon Siam, and there's a place opposite the river as well. They're all about. We've been on 3 separate ones. I can't remember the name of the boat, but if you look at the 1,200 baht one, it's exceptional. The food is as much as you want. The drinks are expensive. The drinks are probably about double the price that you'd normally pay. But the food is very, very good. And it's a buffet, so you can eat as much as you want. And then you have live entertainment on the boat, which is very, very good also. And it lasts for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, might be 3 hours. But it's good. It's a very, very entertaining night out. And it gets you in that mood because all the bands plays, the boat comes up and everybody gets on. It's very, very good. Walk this way. John is a troll. Well, maybe it is. You know, if he wants to troll, if he's got nothing else better to do, well, so be it. Les, the last time I was in Thailand was 2019. What percent of inflation would you say the cost of living have gone up for the average expat since 2009? Ooh, I wouldn't know, but I used to do a video three years ago living on 50,000, and we can still live on 50,000 even though we're buying the house now. It's got up to 55 to 60, but my payments have gone up by 8,000 baht a month as well. So roughly speaking, we can live on about the same amount of money. So it's still not prohibitively expensive here. We can still live on 55 to 60,000 baht a month comfortably, including our holidays away and things like that. So we budget 500 baht a day for food, and we still have money left over from that amount of money. So, there's a few flies around here now. So yeah, 500 baht a day. We both of us, we eat out and we have our meals indoors. So yeah, easily done. So anyway, as I said, all the chats come back now. I've caught up with it. So again, thanks very much, everybody. 87 people still in the house. Thanks very much for joining us on this live stream.
hopefully again in another couple of weeks or something like that. But Happy New Year from Thailand. Happy Songkran from everybody. Thanks very much for joining us. So from Les Retired and Living the Dream, bye for now.